Time to party. It hits the spot. All the women are about ready to get better looking. They don't like that. Party on. That's it. Came on a little early. How you doing today? Hey, where's my stuff on delivering the pool tables? I want to deliver some pool tables. Hey, Ballpark, how you doing? Ready to party tonight? Oh, that's okay. No hurry. No hurry. No hurry. Oh, are you? Good for you. You got a positive attitude then. That's cool. Come on, Bopot. Don't like that. Let's party. I want to deliver some pool tables. Some foosball tables too. Oh, were they good? Oh, good for you. Where'd you get those? Walmart? Okay, yeah, take your time. If you don't feel like it, no rush. No fun if you don't feel like it. I have that happen. That's why I don't usually schedule streams. 10 minutes before it's going on, I don't feel like doing it. Oh, TPC. Okay, I'll probably never get any of them. Come out and see those bald eagles. It was 30. It's 36 degrees here now. It was 38 today. Not a bad day. I didn't really get too much. My sleep got messed up last night. So I was tired today. Didn't do shit. I got this eye exam the 7th. And then I think I might head down to Georgia. Astro van seems to be running like a top. I found an Astro van out in Portland, Oregon, totally customized. The problem is it's a 1994. Really is nice. They wanted 14 grand for it, which I wouldn't pay. But they took trade, so I thought about trading that Toyota. But it's really cool, digital instrumentation, bed. I mean, really looked like a kick-ass van. So they never called me back, never answered an email, and then I looked them up, and they're a bunch of scumbags. I was hoping he called so I could chew his ass out for being a dirtbag. How you doing? How you doing? Don't like that?
All right.
Good. You sound good tonight. Did you get a booster or something?
I got some food in the oven. That's what's got me going.
Good. You know, I got a booster somewhere. I'll send it to you if you want to give it a try. It's supposed to boost your Wi-Fi signal.
Oh, who knows? I don't know. Internet can be real sketchy.
Yeah, it shouldn't be though in this day and age.
Yeah, no kidding.
Unless there's a lot of bandwidth and you got like the, I pay $75 a month just for internet, super speed.
Oh,
I'll tell you, I don't know if you know this or not, but now you have your own router and modem, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Every once in a while, like once a month, unplug that, both of them, take the power out. Sounds like bullshit, right? Like rubbing your tummy and walking backwards, but it actually works.
Yeah, it's like a hard restart.
Hard restart, yep. Do you do that once in a while?
I say yeah. Unintentionally, unplug it somehow, farting around. cable.
this, it's odd to me that, hey, good. How you doing, Dolly? It's odd to me that unplugging the power would do what it does, but it does work. I reset mine and pull it, but once I have to get burned on something that I know should be faster before I do it too. It's not like I, do it every time,
Yeah,
Should.
yeah.
But yeah, I get 400 megabyte download, sometimes 550, which is smoking. And then I get about 24 upload, which is good too.
Okay.
It's as fast as it's going to get for me. I'll tell myself, hello. It's as fast as it's going to get. Good enough, Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. It's unbelievable how much time 4K videos take. It's 4 times longer, actually.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, but 4K is better, and when you're into uploading stuff, you want it to be as good as possible. So even though it's 4 times the hassle, I still do it.
Yeah,
When
I
I
was
do
watching your video in that Fisher body plant.
Yeah, now when I re-upload videos, although that was an old one, so that was probably 1080p anyway, so it didn't matter.
Oh,
But
really?
when I do re-uploads, I do them 1080p, and it's just so much easier. Nobody ever complains. But if you go down and you select the resolution you want, you're going to see it's 1080p. And people, if they think you got 4K and you're not uploading in that, they get pissed. But
Forget about it.
yeah,
I assumed it was an older video. Obviously, it was in Detroit.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
I think it's interesting. Yeah, that was actually famous architect Kahn designed that building.
Oh, really?
You can imagine back in the days how good things were.
Oh, it's funny that we talk about this because, I watched a little bit of that video with, the old plant. And so I went back on YouTube and I searched, to try to, I figured there had to have been some type of video of the plant when it was in production, when it was running.
Yeah,
they said it was like every 3 seconds, a car body, car rolled out of that manufacturing. It was like 1,200 a day.
Yeah.
That producing out of that facility.
I got a video up of this small town in Georgia that used to employ like 4,300 people, double shifts, work through your vacation. My parents moved from Connecticut. My dad got a job at Ford's. It was always double time, triple time, crazy benefits, his whole life. Always bitching about having to work a double. Fuck. And then you count inflation in the equation now. Everybody's working for nothing.
I'm happy to be back at work personally. It's been a positive change.
The biggest problem with not working is you don't appreciate days off and vacation. And when you're working, you know that when you got 2 days off, like you did when you redid your house, don't like that? If you weren't working, you still wouldn't be done with it. But you had a timeline, and you only had so much time to do this shit. And you knew if you blew the 2 days off, you'd be going back to work. So it forces you to do shit.
Yeah, you're totally right about that. It really gives you a lot of perspective. When you're sitting on your ass all day, you start getting a little muddled in the mind, I think.
Yeah, you do. You don't get anything done either. You put everything off. There's no consequence for not being productive.
Yep.
I'm looking down thinking, am I going to pick that top off the toothpaste or not? No, I'll do it tomorrow. You don't do shit. But when when you've only got so much time and you get it done, it forces you to do things. I don't know why stuff's like that. Just think like colleges. Who the hell would have a degree if you just went to class when you felt like it? Like an honor system? Behavior sure seems pretty self-defeating to me.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out. Yeah, I think it's really weird. So you are back to work. Good for you.
Yeah. Last 2 days worked, I guess like 21 hours, 2 10.5-hour days.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard work, but I don't know, it's kind of fun. I like it.
Good, you like it. That's the important.
A little difficult sometimes.
But what is it exactly that you're doing?
It's we're installing these like fancy exhaust systems for fire departments. They like hook up with a magnet to the trucks, and it sucks the diesel exhaust fumes so that it doesn't fill the station with fumes when they start up the trucks.
Interesting.
And it automatically releases with like a sensor when they drive out of the station. That's the idea, at least.
You know, I'll tell you, I don't know why I thought of this, but yeah, I don't know if you ever heard of the Pontiac Silverdome in Michigan.
No,
Big,
I don't know that.
Giant venue, like 100,000 seats. Anyway, a long time ago, they had a monster truck event.
Oh yeah, I've been to one of those.
Yeah, and you know, the carbon monoxide, people were passing out, and they measured it, and didn't even evacuate the building, but it just
the sound. It was deafening. I like thought I was gonna have like hearing loss from that fucking thing.
Yeah. No. Yep. Well, good for you. Now, this company, is it very big?
No, not at all. Very small company.
And I wonder, that was yesterday's, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
And I wonder, did you rub elbows with the guy that invented this stuff?
No, the company that invented this stuff is out of like Sweden or Denmark or something.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
The guy who runs this company, he's pretty great. I'm not exactly sure like how he got this whole deal, but
Lucky, probably.
He's also a professional firefighter, so
yeah,
I think he like basically knew the right people or something.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's pretty cool. Do they get a fortune for these things?
I have no idea, honestly. I mean, I'm getting paid like enough that it's worth it, but I have no idea like how much.
Are they like 2 tons a piece or something? They huge?
There's 2 different kinds. There's one that's like really monstrously like heavy and really difficult to install, and then there's one that's kind of easy that is for like smaller vehicles.
Cool. Now, do all fire departments eventually have something like this?
So they installed I think like in the late 80s, early 90s, they started installing this thing called like Plymo vent in all the fire stations, and it was basically like an early attempt at doing the same thing, like an automated exhaust gas like collection system, and it was a total failure, and everyone hated it, and it just broke, and the city never bothered to put any money in to fix it until just recently, when they decided that they would try to retrofit all of the old systems with this new technology, because they think that maybe it'll work this time. It's really funny because the firefighters are so skeptical of it. They like regularly, while we're installing the stuff, they'll come around and be like, they tried it before, I'll give it about a year and a half before it breaks, and then the city won't fix it. That they say stuff to that like that to us all the time. It's really funny.
You would think though that starting those up and opening the door and heading out and parking them wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Well, so these buildings are also dormitories for all the firefighters.
Yeah.
And when you start up a big diesel engine, that initial startup throws a huge amount of soot and like exhaust like junk into the air, and it, you know, you notice it because there's like soot on everything. You know, like I like just like from like being in the building for a day, my hands like get like covered in soot.
Yeah, I hope you're wearing a mask.
I mean, sometimes, yeah, it depends on it depends on the work. Like if I'm drilling through the concrete or something, I'll definitely put on like a N95 or something like that.
I know I was talking about that coal burning ship that cuts across Lake Michigan to Wisconsin. The Badger, I was talking about that the other night, and you go over to Ludington, the Michigan side, and you're there on a quiet day, not much wind, and you can go up to any of those places downtown and rub your finger across a windowsill or a eaves cross. Yeah,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Startup. That's exactly it.
Yeah, it's because it's when the engine is like running at full tilt, like when it's running hot,
Yeah.
the combustion is complete. You know, it's like a more efficient combustion.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's right.
yeah, the soot comes from when it's like not burning completely.
Yeah. Yep. You know, they have same issues with that with wood burning stoves, creosote, and that's why you'll see a lot of people have trended towards the outside units, and that's exactly why. Because when you're burning everything like wet pine, you get shit tons of creosote. I always thought that was interesting too. Is you got to clean these chimneys and these stacks out wherever you burn, because that will actually close off the exit chimney, the pipe, whatever, with this black sooty shit that you got to like chisel out.
Yeah.
Actually and you'll see a lot of restaurant fires are caused by not cleaning out grease traps.
Yeah, I believe
that's all grease that makes its way up through the exhaust fans.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. Even in like a household kitchen, you know, if you have like a kitchen that's pretty old, like used regularly for a couple decades or something, you go like on top of the cupboards and stuff, you'll find this layer of weird like grease, and it's just from cooking.
No,
like that stuff just builds up.
No, you're exactly right. Yep. Yeah, that is so weird. Or if you look in the corner like of rooms, and you look between the baseboard and the corner and the carpet where it butts up against her, you'll see those dark lines. That's dust. Over time, eventually turns black.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
The main thing you have to look out for is the mold.
Yeah.
If you start getting black mold, beware, because one, it's really hard to get rid of, and it's incredibly bad for your health, like amazingly bad for your health.
Yep.
Black mold is terrifying stuff.
But I can remember talking to older guys that were like in carpentry and stuff, and they said they ran into black mold all the time.
Yeah, you really got to be careful. I mean, maybe some people... What's that?
It's got to be warm. It needs heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Wet and warm breeds the mold.
Yep, that's exactly it. They say there's tons of mold between walls of people's houses that are running in-room humidifiers and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
You got to be careful.
Yeah.
No, but the health problems you can get from black mold are like really crazy, like really bad stuff. I think even like autoimmune disease and it's tons of bad stuff.
Yeah, like triggers they call it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff like that. I guess there's these kits you can get to. It's just like radon. I mean, that was a big craze for a while.
Yeah. Radon is a really weird one. Yeah. My dad actually was like, he did like this big research project on trying to assess the amount and the hazard of radon coming from people's basements in like American residential homes.
Yeah, I remember checking it like a long time ago. I remember it was like 84.
Yeah, in the 80s, it was like a big scare, the whole radon thing, right?
Yep. You get that out there? You checking for that? Don't like that? Checking out for that radon? You checking it when you redid your place?
Oh yeah, we got that.
Lead paint too.
Yeah, don't let your kids
see the lead paint. Radon testing done here, but
I know it was mandatory in Detroit for a while. Yeah, it's crazy. They still got a problem up in. I don't know if they're ever going to get that water thing straightened out there. You know, the water was from the lead pipes between where it drew and where it was purified and where it entered. We have big problems up here. It's not going to kill you, but lime in the water.
Lime, really?
Yeah, clogs up everything.
Oh, I see. Yeah, mineral deposits in the water in general kind of can be a lot of problem.
You probably have good water, don't you? Don't like that out near you? Don't like it?
I'm going to hop up and I'm going to eat this food, but I'll hang out in the chats. I'll stop back here tomorrow.
All right. Okay. Yeah, he lives out in the Quad Cities, right near the Mississippi River. He said all the ice is gone off the Mississippi River now. Hey, Jackie, how you doing? Yeah, Flint's a mess. It's political,
Jackie.
criminal, just a total asshole. Flint was having problems when things were good. So you can imagine what it's like now. High crime rate.
Yeah, I put a video up of I took a stroll on my lunch break in Baltimore, and I put a video up of it.
I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, I found a particularly like weird area that had a it's like it used to be like a, I don't know what you call it, like a shopping center mall area, but it's totally just derelict vacant buildings now.
Really?
It's kind of surreal because it's really close to the downtown area. So it's like you can like look over and see like the nice downtown area, but it's like a almost like a post-apocalyptic like wasteland zone. Yeah.
Malls are in trouble everywhere.
Yeah,
they really are. Even nice ones like where I grew up in Michigan are iffy. You got big anchor stores going out, and that's the beginning of the end. Sears, like that. You remember?
There's like no incentive for people to shop there anymore.
No, right.
It's easier and cheaper to go buy it offline.
Yep. I mean, it's crazy. Hey, Semka, it's crazy how much I've seen change in my life.
Yeah, I believe it.
The mall's dead. Transportation. You look at the United States compared to other countries too, with regard to public transportation. That's one of the biggest problems Detroit has. Now, I don't think Amazon was ever seriously considering going there. But I know on one of the studies they did, they said that, it doesn't take long to figure out that you'd have rocks in your head to go to Detroit with all the other choices. And one of the big issues was public transportation. You're making you got a minimum wage job or $14, $15 an hour. You live 8 miles away, it takes you 2 hours to get to work. And because of the half-assed public transportation system they have, it's a broke city. You just can't properly fund enough routes to run regularly. If you're in a happening place like New York or Chicago, you got to bus 20 of them, every 10 minutes all day long. It's not like that in Detroit, Yeah, it's things are big cities, man. You look at Detroit, they were 3.5 million at one time. Now it's about 650,000. So, all that infrastructure was predicated on that kind of tax base, and it's gone.
It's interesting in the Washington, D.C., like Maryland area, because we do have the metro. Yeah. And the metro is like kind of good.
Yeah.
Like I've used it for my entire life, and it's pretty solid, Yeah, except for when they have train derailments or like the cars blow up because they aren't being maintained because they don't fund the maintenance.
Yeah.
Like
or they run into each other. Or they run into each other.
Yeah. It's almost good, I guess. I don't know what the gold standard is really for public transit in like the US, but like you can get where you want to go with a combination of a metro ride and a bus ride. You can pretty much get almost anywhere you need to go, which is, that's saying something. It's good.
Now, do you ever go and tool around Washington, D.C., check it out in the summer, go down there?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Washington, D.C. Like, I've been all over it, seen all the sites and been to all the museums and all that stuff. But, I don't know. It's not my favorite. There's something about it. I don't know. It makes me feel weird.
How long would it take you to get to New York City?
3 hours, 3.5, maybe.
On trains and all that stuff?
Oh, driving. I don't. Bus would probably. I think the bus is 5 hours. Four or 5.
Yeah, it's a long bus ride.
Yeah, there's a specific bus that is almost like it's like a shuttle between here and New York. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, you can catch that pretty easily, and it's pretty cheap too.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. As I said before, I was living in Chicago for a while, and boy, are they in trouble. They're pulling out all the stops. They've hit the panic button now. Nobody wants to go there. Retail's falling apart, and it's panic time. I mean, what are you going to do? You get away with 140 years of exceptional retail in a trendy world-class city, and and internet comes in, Amazon takes over, and nobody goes there anymore. How do you fix that?
I mean, you need to have somebody with like a vision for what's next.
Yes,
like somebody needs to come up with an idea and sell it.
Yeah.
I don't know how else you do it, right?
Yeah, no, I know. You're right. It's I don't. I mean, I get around a lot. I take these big road trips and stuff. And I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but I think two ways about it. On one hand, I think that we're getting leveled with other places, other countries. And
okay, I think I see what you're saying.
Yeah, for a long time, I think it was just a lifestyle where you could make more than a college professor by being a high school dropout. And it worked, during the course of the United States being number one in manufacturing.
Yeah.
But they're not anymore. And now it's kind of morphed into a service industry. And those jobs don't pay particularly well. So it all trickled down to where you had that median income that's gone from a big, giant group of uneducated people that's not coming back. So maybe it was supposed to be this way all along, and those were 50 years. And if you were living and working in those times, you had it made.
I mean, I think there's an aspect of, I guess you could call it luck, of sort of like what generation you're born into, right?
Yeah.
But there's certain things that stay the same no matter what, right?
Yeah.
And if when times are hard, you can't do anything, you're gonna be screwed. Like that's
big time.
That's what it comes down to, right? Like learn a trade.
No. But even like the trades, really, I don't know what it's like around you. Once in a blue moon, I'll see somebody building a new house. It's not like the old days. You've got like this very limited percentage of society. Look what they're getting for these new homes now. And it doesn't make sense to me. Pickups are sitting all over in this small town where nobody's working. 80 grand, 70 grand, 50 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're paying that much for a car. You're crazy.
But the truth of the matter is nobody is owed a good lifestyle.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Which is why I kind of think that it was just a lucky time. And if you were in the, it's like everything. My dad, I'm sure he'd roll over in his grave right now, thinking about what it's like now compared to when he came to Detroit. And if let's say my dad was 20 now, it would have been an entirely different outcome. If you don't have some specialty, or I think if they could have got to me as a kid and unless you experience it, it's hard to understand the impact of it all. But I think if someone could have got to me as a kid, I saw my dad making great money. My whole neighborhood was like that, whether they worked for the power company or a car company or, there was all this ancillary manufacturing because of the big three. So everybody was doing really well. And, if you didn't want to go to college, no big deal. You were going to make more money. It just wasn't going to be as prestigious.
Yeah.
Now you go to college, you get out with a basket weaving degree. You don't make shit, and you've got $200,000 in college loans.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is one of the things that I've thought about a lot, as far as like the value of education.
Yeah.
If you have a clear idea of what you're doing or like why you're learning the things that you're learning, right? There's one aspect of education which is just expanding your horizons and learning stuff that you haven't heard of before, that kind of thing. But there's also the like, oh, I want to be like an expert and be able to do this thing down the line, and then you like learn all of the like technical details in order to be an expert in that subject or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But it that's all predicated on executing that end goal,
Yeah.
And so like that's kind of a interesting thing that I think a lot of people are struggling with these days, because it's like, why did you get that degree in like liberal arts of some place, or XYZ, like that. I don't want to pick too much on the liberal arts degree people, but there's lots of examples of that.
Yeah. Hey, I got it's amazing. I went to college. Really, it was all just the cards kind of fell. I was a bad student, barely got in, barely got out. So it's a miracle that I got a degree. But when I got my degree, I had a 4-year degree in criminal justice, and I was actually getting recruited. They thought you were just the smartest guy in the world to have a 4-year degree and you were considering law enforcement or something like that. But it's a totally, absolutely worthless degree. I mean, what it allowed me to do is just be self-employed right out of the get-go because I had that license. That shows you how stupid the state is. They gave me a PI license knowing nothing because I had a 4-year degree. Even they bought into the bullshit.
Yeah.
Where it was either that or work someplace for 3 years for less money. And I'm sure I will learn 10 times more than I would have ever learned by messing around with this. But I'll bet another 12 credit hours and I would have had a liberal arts degree. But I took one in fucking finger or some stupid shit, and another one in crime scene analysis. They made it a degree in criminal justice, and it was a Bachelor of Science, which was better than a Bachelor of Arts. So I got lucky.
A BS.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that took out loans when I went to college. It was no big deal, man. We didn't like paying it, but it wasn't any big deal. But I just missed. If I'd have been 5 years older, all the guys that I knew that went to college, they worked one summer, in a steel mill. They'd have money for a car, spending money, tuition.
Oh yeah.
Only 3 months of work, and those days are long gone too.
Yeah. I stopped going to college because I got a job as an engineer without a degree.
Oh, yeah, I don't blame you.
And like how that happened? They interviewed me because I got recommended by a friend. Sometimes it's who you know. Yeah. But they interviewed me and they just like asked me a bunch of very hard questions and be like, what would you do in this situation? And I was like, okay, I do this, and this, and like wrote a bunch of shit on the whiteboard. And they were like, yes, we'd like to offer you a position as an engineer at this like startup company.
Yeah.
So if you know what you're doing and you want to do it, you can get after it. Like the piece of paper from the college is only like it opens some doors. Yes.
Right. But you got to be lucky on who hires you.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's still a lot of places you're going to get paid less because you don't have a degree.
Oh yeah, well that's the whole negotiation of salary and all that. That's a whole game unto itself.
Yeah, I think that's changing. I think people are realizing, and of course, if your degrees related to licensure, attorney, nurse, teacher, you got to have a fucking degree.
Yeah. And there's some. I think there's some good reasons why that should be the case, right? When it comes to things like medical professionals and stuff, you're getting into liability type issues, and two, you want people to be like very assured that people know what they're talking about, right? So the piece of paper starts to matter a lot more.
It's a pretty good system, really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
You don't hear many stories of, someone coming out and the doctor forgot what he was doing halfway through the surgery. It's a pretty well policed. It's not perfect. There is malpractice, but by and large, it's pretty damn safe. Look at what they've done with aviation.
Yeah.
Just go on an app some night and look at all the airplanes in the sky about 6 o'clock. I mean, how they don't run into each other. It's just technology and protocol and training.
Yep.
And airplanes are super safe, and they've done that with the medical field pretty much.
Sure.
Yeah. It's just such a different place. That's why I'm glad that I'm older. I can remember when I was younger, older people would talk. They get all teary-eyed and shit that they were getting older and they were going to miss, what you were going to experience when you were younger. I don't feel like that at all. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. COVID, going broke, inflation, high taxes. It's like I know that sounds pessimistic, but I mean, look at Michelle.
Hey man, there's lots of reasons to be pessimistic right now. I can't argue with you on that one.
They say depressed people have a more realistic.
Yeah, exactly. But like, it's hard to I don't think I'm like universally a pessimistic person. In fact, a lot of times I kind of trend towards being kind of like a go with the flow, optimistic kind of person.
Yeah.
But I definitely like in certain circumstances will just sort of be like, no, I'm not making this up. The world is going to hell.
Yeah. The comforting thing to me is though, when I look around and if this COVID thing was just over here, I would be, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I get thinking about sometimes. But then when I see it like in all these other countries, I feel better rather than just a regional, poisoning of, the Illuminati. Every goddamn place in the world's dealing with this now. So I believe, I'm not sure how it started, but I believe it's real. And whether you're a communist, an independent, a Muslim, a Christian, whatever, you can be on a ventilator any day of the week. And that's not political.
Yeah.
Unless you buy into this world order thing. But
the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, like Dave said the other day, some of these people come on here sometime and they think that COVID was population control.
Oh,
God. Yeah, I know. They did a really shitty job because it's taken out a bunch of good people. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I mean, I think like there are some unanswered questions, but I hate conspiracy theory type crap because it's all, like there are things that should probably be like more transparent about all the goings on involved with a lot of different things, but just endlessly speculating and coming up with crazy
right.
Like you imagine the guy with like all the pictures on the board, like putting like twine between the
we didn't land on the moon,
right?
Yeah, the world isn't round. I just block these people right out of the chute. These anti-vaxxers, and they come on, I get rid of them too. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm going to go with science. It's not perfect, but that's where I'm going to hang my hat on. People say natural. People live longer now than they ever have, and it isn't because of being natural. It's because of medication made in the lab through science research.
I think the biggest jump in what was it? There was like a metric that was used as a measure of like how civilized a society was, or kind of even just like quality of life, and it was a infant mortality rate. And this is through like 1800s through the 1900s.
Super high.
Yeah, and there's this massive, crazy shift that happens. Like if you look at London, they had good statistics from London, and the London infant mortality rate around the turn of the century, like 1900, was monstrously crazy. Like I forget exactly what it was, but it's was maybe like 30-50%, like tens of percent of infant mortality rate. And when we started introducing antibiotics and antiseptics and sanitation and stuff like that, that number dropped by like an order of magnitude really quickly. And that's like a kind of important thing to like comprehend, I guess, that medical technology can really dramatically change quality of life in that way.
Yeah, for sure. And this COVID thing, I mean, caught people by surprise.
Yes, it did.
And
it's still catching us by surprise. We're not over this nonsense.
No, it's definitely a game changer.
Yeah.
You look at SIDS, like son infant death amongst the African American community, it's disproportionately high. Same thing with accidental drownings with African Americans. I did quite a bit of reading on that last summer. Actually, Dave is going to come up. He's a scuba diver, the guy that's on here a lot in the evening. And then we're going to do a preventative drowning video where we can film it from underwater and show how people get in trouble.
Yeah, I think it's
yeah, they had an excellent depiction of what a drowning person looks like when I was over there on the west side the other day, videotaping that ice. I knew this already, but first of all, it's silent. People look like they're walking upstairs and they're facing the beach and their head is just barely above water and you don't hear a peep. It's not like people think. It's not screaming and yelling and save me.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, because you probably can't do too much when you're getting like deprived of oxygen, right?
That's right. Yep.
I gotta plug this laptop in, or otherwise it's gonna die.
And it's the same thing with hypothermia too.
Yeah, I have dreams sometimes that I'm in like Antarctica and I am lost in a snowstorm, and that I like make my way in a whiteout to a shack, and then I curl up in the corner of the shack and then just like slowly go to sleep.
You know, I'll tell you something funny. You know, I'll tell you. I did that ice video the other day where you could see me on the top, and I sunk the camera. I don't know if you saw it or not.
I saw that one.
Now, I'm just thankful that my mind doesn't take over and I dream about that shit. Because to me, when I see those videos of like the camera looking up at me way down, and considering that ice is 12 inches thick, to me, that gives me the creeps, like the chills. Just thinking that you could be down there. You're not getting through a 12-inch hole.
I thought those videos were awesome. Under the ice stuff.
Yeah, I like that weird stuff. But, you know, I'll tell you, when I see that like opaqueness, and if you look, you could see my boots on the ice. And I'm just glad that it doesn't morph into some crazy, nutty nightmare that I got underneath there. And I know I could, and I'd come up to the hole, but you couldn't get out. Yeah, it's really creepy looking, you know? Yeah, I don't know why I like doing that so much. I think it's about probably the end of the road. I may do one or two more, but that was the whole goal of doing that, going out there and seeing what it looks like and figuring out where these kids were drowned in. Now that I've done it, probably I may drill a hole here and there. But honestly, if there's not something to see, like if that crap wasn't laying on the bottom,
yeah,
you wouldn't think that that'd be a game changer, but it is, because I've went places and I thought, wow, this is really going to be cool. And I stick that GoPro 30 foot down, you can't see shit. It's dark. There's no rocks. There's no fish. Doesn't matter if you stick it in the Bahamas or in northern Michigan, whatever. There has to be something you can recognize, or it's super boring.
You know, it's kind of funny that speaking on like this kind of subject, I suppose, if you look really closely in certain places, you'll find stuff that will surprise you sometimes, I think.
Yeah, I do.
You know, you can take a lot of places for granted, and then once you become like aware of something that interests you, or you look really closely, you can start finding some craziness. Like, you know, putting something under a microscope always is going to be like, what the heck? I had no idea that this was here, you know?
Yeah.
An example of this is I'm very interested in lichen. Like the strange I guess it's not really a vegetable.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's kind of like a moss, but it's also it's like a bacteria moss.
Yeah. I'll tell you an interesting one that you'd find this interesting. I know you would. The heavily peated scotches.
Yeah.
Isle of Islay.
The Islay ones are fantastic. Yes. I love those.
That's that peat.
Mm-hmm.
That's that peat.
Yeah.
And you can understand why the Scotch rule the world.
Yeah.
Making Scotch. They got this down. You're not growing that anywhere else.
With the lichen thing was really funny to me, because once I got like interested in lichen,
yeah,
I started seeing it everywhere, because it is everywhere. It's it covers like 60% of the earth.
Hey, speaking of that, before I forget, do you watch Microcosmos on YouTube?
I think I've seen some of their videos.
Guys do the microscopic analysis with electron microscopes.
I think I've seen some of that.
They just did one the other day on microbes in Antarctica.
Oh, really? I'll have to check that out. That sounds really cool.
You tend to think the same thing with me. ICU asked me a question. He wants to know why I don't see any fish. I mean, I'm guessing, but those are areas where there's deeper water further away, and there's not much of a food source near those beaches. It's basically sand and ice. So I'm assuming that the fish are out someplace where there's something to eat, and it just doesn't happen to be in that pristine beach area. Yeah, I do see them in the lake. Like, it's very busy in this lake near me right now where they're ice fishing, but it's much smaller. You know, you got a lot of fish in a smaller area. And I think in that area, I never see anybody fishing out there in the summer. And, you know, these fishing guys, as my dear old dad would say, they'd rather fish than screw. Dear old dad, I miss him. But it's true. And I think if there was a fish out there to be caught, I would have saw somebody by now, and I haven't. So just because there's water doesn't mean it's good fishing. And I'm sure it's for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, a lot of people use like a radar, like to see where, because they clump together the schools of fish in different pockets under the water, and you have to figure out where they're at if you want to get any good fishing done. Fishing.
There's a lot to fishing. It's that feeding response. You know, that stuff is evolved, and they know what a bug that just hit the water that's a real bug looks like.
Yeah.
And it's your job to make that line. They get spooked by line.
Mm-hmm.
If that thing's wiggling sideways instead of up and down, they're going to pass. They couldn't tell you why, but it just doesn't look quite right. Fish seem like they're stupid, but when you look at some of the things they do to evade being captured, I'll tell you what's super intelligent are ducks. I
do like a good duck.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell.
You better raise it in a cage, because even though man's got the advantage, well, he doesn't really have the advantage. You look at the stats of like where I go on that bird observatory, the take on a weekly basis is not very good. And that's because those ducks, same thing with the fish. You know, they're looking down there, and I don't know what criteria they use, but if those ducks aren't spinning around or getting up for a few seconds and flapping their wings, they're out of there. They get spooked very easy. Doesn't look right to them.
There's like at least one or two big like families of ducks that live in the canal near here, and I like to go like on walks and check them out.
Yeah. What kind of ducks do you know?
I think it's like your standard kind of like wood duck.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Wood ducks nest in trees, believe it or not.
I believe that. There's a lot of trees next to the canal.
Yeah, super beautiful ducks. You want to look at a beautiful bird, look up golden pheasant sometime. Gorgeous. Like the prettiest bird ever. Golden pheasant.
I'll have to check that out.
I mean, ringneck pheasants are pretty too. They're related, but the golden pheasant doesn't even look real. It's so beautiful.
There's this farm. It's mostly a Christmas tree farm, but they also breed pheasants near here. And man, I'd never seen a pheasant in person before, and that's a crazy bird.
Yeah, they're from China.
They're very cool.
Yeah, they're from China.
Really?
Most pheasants where they're hunted are managed programs. They don't do too well on their own. I know a hunting guide that I met where I take daisy swimming in the summer, and he's been doing this for 60 years. And he said the day you and your buddy heading out to the cornfields of Iowa in October to hunt pheasants, pulling over at the side of the road are over. Now it's about $1,000, a $200 a night hotel bill, and permission from the owner in writing. Yeah, it's this stuff. Hunting has changed so much.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Turkeys are native to North America, right?
No, I thought they were. They're not.
I remember hearing like an old story about like Benjamin Franklin wanting to make the turkey national bird instead of the bald eagle.
I mean, I tell people this all the time, just my opinion. The bald eagle is a gorgeous specimen. I've hand fed him.
It's a cool bird. It's really cool. Yeah.
But they're a pussy bird when it comes to survival. You change the environment even a little bit and they all die.
Yeah, I think it's probably because they're such like a specialized apex predator kind of.
They're just not a tough bird. I nominate the cormorant.
The condor is a cool bird too.
But you look at the cormorant. Everybody's trying to kill it. Everybody hates it. It's not like the ahinga, its cousin in Florida, that has to dry its wings. Yeah. This thing will be out there in 29-degree water, swimming under there, eating fish, pop right up out, be swimming full speed, pop right out of the water and fly.
Yeah, totally. And that's badass.
Yeah, it is badass is right, man.
But like by this metric though, probably like pigeon, crow, seagull would be like the top tier list of bird toughness, I guess.
I'll tell you another super smart bird. I think the smartest bird is a starling.
Starling?
Yeah, sharp. Especially the European starling. Yeah, super. I've seen them do things. And believe it or not, I just bought a book the other day up in Traverse City on pigeons that I'm going to read. I've read.
Pigeons are cool, I think.
They're cool.
They're really smart. They're really smart.
Yeah, a bald eagle, he couldn't fly around inside a parking garage like that. Got the wrong kind of wings.
Yeah, it'd probably crash into a pylon and break its wing.
There's some good YouTube videos. There's some good YouTube videos where a peregrine falcon will be bearing down on a pigeon, and at the last second, he'll pull his wings in and collapse, and that peregrine goes screaming right by him. Now, there's plenty other videos where it didn't really work out that way, but their flying ability is crazy. They can go straight up for about 15 feet.
Yeah, I mean, I read a thing once about, like pigeons, you see them all the time in cities, right?
Yeah.
And they're just like chilling in this really chaotic environment. And there seems like a good argument, and that's what this article I was reading was making about how pigeons living in the urban environment has actually like evolutionarily selected them for this dynamic intelligence, so like they can deal with crazy adaptive situations like really fast and stuff like that, It's interesting, and you see it all the time. Like go like see a pigeon in the park and like go try to catch it. You won't be able to.
Nope. Michigan used to have the largest population of passenger pigeons, and there's not one left in the world.
Oh God, the tragedy of the passenger pigeon.
You know one thing about a lot of things that people get wrong in the passenger pigeon, and that is that it was actually commercial harvesting that did them in.
Yeah, no, I read like a whole bunch of stuff about this.
Wasn't the everyday hunter?
No, and you know how they did it? They put poison into like breadcrumbs, and then they would seek out where they were nesting and just distribute poisoned like breadcrumbs around the nest areas. And then they die from the poison, and then they just go around with bags and collect their corpses. Like that's how they hunted the passenger pigeon to extinction. Like what the hell? That is like that's crazy. I do not like that.
You want to know something that's perfectly legal, though?
What?
Red Roof Inn I stay in down in Detroit when I'm down around there. You can go and you can catch those pigeons wherever you are, New York City, Detroit, where I go, legally all year long. And there's people that go out legally and eat them. Pigeons considered a delicacy in a lot of countries. It's good. It tastes like chicken. But I saw two guys about come to blows down there. They're that Dunkin' Donuts, because here's a nice guy that likes birds like I do. And he's out there feeding them, which they don't want you doing that either. And here's another guy setting traps. And before you know it, the guy feeding him says, "What the fuck are you doing?" He said, "I'm in a trap." He said, "Not while I'm here now." He said, "You're not going to do anything about it."
Right. That's good.
And the craziness of it is the guy feeding him would have been in more trouble than the guy killing him. What the fuck?
Yeah, that is kind of messed up, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And pigeons will exercise their wing muscles twice a day, no matter how cold it is. You know how you see them flying around in the evenings?
They have to.
Yeah, they have to. Yep.
Yeah.
They keep in shape. Mike Tyson was a big pigeon collector.
Oh yeah. I forget what it is, but there's some show where there's Mike Tyson and a pigeon. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, no, he was really into them pigeons. Yep. We get a lot of red-tailed hawks around here, Katie. Yeah, they're all over the place. Yep. I see them. They sit on telephone poles. The reason you see them on telephone poles a lot is because people throw stuff out the window when they're driving, and then the mice and the rats come out from the side of the road to eat it, and that's what they're waiting for. It's an easy meal. Yeah. Hey, Joe, how you doing? Yep. I think it's pretty cool, really. This is bird paradise where I live. We get a lot of them, and where I go over there in Taos, that's actually a very recognized place in the United States for bird migration. It's weird because I'm out there all the time and I don't see that many birds. You know, it's not like there's a place you can sit and you're going to see a bunch. I don't know. These bird people are dedicated. They'll sit out there with a pair of high power binoculars and, you know, they recognize the wing stroke and they'll count these birds and freezing their ass off. They'll sit out there in these Arctic suits. Wasn't for people like that, we really wouldn't know what was what. You know, not far from where I live, maybe 25 miles, we for a long time had the world's rarest warbler, the Kirtland warbler, Kirtland, named after a doctor in Ohio. That winters in the Bahamas. Yeah. Pretty bird. I've never seen one, to be honest with you. I've been close. I mean, I think I saw them, but I couldn't say for sure. That's probably what they were, but I was never 100. They don't interest me that much. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I like birds, but it's just kind of like a little sparrow. And I know people that have traveled to the Bahamas because they wanted to see them. But if birds aren't in their breeding colors, they just don't look that great. And that applies with the Kirtland warbler as well. It's kind of a maize and blue, the University of Michigan's colors. And when it's not breeding, it looks like a small bird, kind of nondescriptive. Pretty cool, though. Yeah, but they've been taken off the endangered species list, Kirtland warbler. Yeah. But if anybody's into birds, Mayo, there's a huge place where they nest. I can see why they're endangered. The goddamn things lay their eggs on the ground. I mean, what the fuck? You're a bird. What kind of evolution is that, Opak?
Yeah, I don't know. The dogs will get them.
Yeah, everything gets them.
Yeah.
They're experts at, you know, just knowing. I don't know how they do it. We've got the piping plover. For a while, there were only 21 pairs of piping plovers. That's why people say it says no dogs on the beach. That's really why. Yeah, they don't want your dog laying a half pound of crap there either. But what they're mainly concerned about is piping plovers getting crushed by your dog walking over the nest. Yep.
Yeah.
They were down to 21 pair for a while. I've seen them twice. You know, it's crazy. I've seen them in Florida and I've seen them in Michigan. There's a good likelihood that it could have been the same ones. Yeah. Hawks, Blue Jays. We have a lot of ravens around here, which are, you know.
Ravens are cool.
Yes.
I like ravens.
Super
You know, turkey vultures are pretty cool too.
Yeah, they haven't changed in 130 million years.
Yeah, because they don't need to.
They don't need to.
They got it figured out. Anytime there's like roadkill deer hit by a car near the house,
yep,
I'll see like a flock of turkey vultures. They'll like approach from afar and they'll like notice the deer corpse and then they'll, you know, circle around and then slowly come in and just devour the thing over the course of like 2 days.
Yep.
I mean, it's kind of gross, but I totally understand. Like they know how to. They know how to survive, that's for sure.
They have more pounds per square inch bite than a pit bull.
Yeah, and they look like so crazy.
Yeah, no, they look crazy. Now they've got the black vultures down south, which for some reason you can get a lot closer to. They're smart birds. You watch, they take a long time to get off the ground though, and you'll see them pass on food.
Mm-hmm.
They look down there and that wind's not blowing right. It's like they're not going to let you corner them.
Yeah, They're heavy but very smart birds.
Yeah. You look at wing design on everything. You look like at a mallard duck. He can pop up, fly straight up for about 15 feet, level off. Canadian geese, you're not going to see them eating in the same place because they don't want to get trapped back there.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like an air. It's like a freaking airplane. Your 747 is going to take a little bit longer to take off than like a Piper Cub.
Yeah, we've got 2 pair of trumpeter swans hanging around here, and they take a long time to get off the water too.
They're trumpeter swans are very cool though.
Yeah, 5-foot wingspan.
Yeah, really beautiful bird.
Yeah, really cool birds. Yeah, it's I think they're fascinating, and you look at the distances they cover. It's nuts.
Yeah, we got a big family of geese that migrate. Like, I guess they were just passing through, really. But last time it was snowing here, went on a walk in the park and was looking for the ducks, but found a bunch of geese instead. Hadn't seen them around before.
Wow, they do present an E. coli problem.
The geese.
Yeah.
Is it from their poop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
Yeah, I mean, they poop all over the place. It's kind of gross.
Yeah.
They poop and leave.
Yeah, there are places that have thought of opening an off-season on them just to reduce the numbers.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah, bird migrations, and you look at these. We only get ruby-throated hummingbirds, but they double their weight and then fly across the Gulf of Mexico. It's great. Look at the monarch butterfly.
Oh yeah, we got tons of monarchs out here. Actually, this is one of the places that they stop in their migration.
Really?
Yeah.
You must have a lot of milkweed.
Yep, there's a lot of milkweed out here.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah,
it's not very uncommon to see monarch butterflies out here.
Well, I don't see them like I used to. Yeah, I used to see them all over. I mean, I see some, but not that many. I've got a refrigerator full of praying mantises that I'm going to take out here in probably 2 months.
That's quite the statement.
Should have about 200. Yeah.
What are you?
Yeah, I got them. I'll show them to you.
Yeah, bring them out, man.
Got them in my refrigerator. Should be about 200 of them in here. Right here. You see them? You see them?
Yeah. Are those eggs? What's
they're eggs. See that brown thing?
Yeah. Oh my God. Are they still good? Like
yeah. They don't know they're in a refrigerator. They think they're out in the woods someplace.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've never looked into this. So that's like a egg pod?
Yeah, egg pod, yep.
What
they laid it the female laid it on the side of my bicycle tire. And then I read on the internet how to get it off.
Okay.
Should be 200 babies.
That's cool.
I got the lid barely on it in case they hatch in the refrigerator. But they need to breathe too.
Yeah. Man, for some reason, like insect egg sac technology kind of creeps me out a little bit. Really? Like I remember there was this one year that for some reason or another, orb weaver spiders just went like hog wild, infesting my parents' house's porch.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how many there were, but they were everywhere. If you walked out onto the porch, you would walk straight into a gigantic web. You'd look around you and there would be gigantic webs as far as the eye could see in every direction. It was insane. And one time I did see like one of the egg pods like hatching a bunch of little spiders, and it's a little concerning. It kind of is bothering to see that. I don't know.
I'm fascinated. I've had ant farms. I had 100 beehives at one time. I was going to get into leeches and maggots for debriding burn victims.
Oh yeah. Of course.
You were supposed to kill the bug after doing that, and I'm not doing that. To me, they should have got filet mignon after debriding someone that might have died otherwise, and I'm going to kill them. Not happening.
Who's that on there?
That's me. It's Jackie.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
I'm sorry, Tom. You are cracking me up. So who else but Tom could pull out a sack of little baby eggs?
Yeah, praying mantis. I know, right?
I checked into all that stuff. I like. I really wanted to do the maggot thing and the leech thing, but I thought I'm not going to do it that way.
Oh, leeches freak me out. The only thing
I almost got a federal permit to breed Queen Bavarian conures, rare conures in Florida, but I didn't get it. Some other guy got it, but I was going to
need a permit.
Yeah, they're super there. They're on the CITES list, CITES. But I was one step away from being allowed to breed those commercially to give to zoos and stuff.
I don't even know what those are.
Yeah,
Bavarian kind. They were on the endangered species list. Let me tell you how bullshit works. I'll give you an example. So I get into bird breeding. I had 3,000 pairs of birds, big commercial parrot breeding operation in Florida, right? So I get these scarlet macaws, and scarlet macaws traditionally don't do too well in captivity. Well, I had like 9 pair, and I was having babies up the fucking ass. I mean, left and right. I had tons of scarlet macaws. Well, a famous vet who was my vet, Susan Clubb, C-L-U-B-B, she did all my stuff, and she was well-liked. And anyway, she was doing some consulting to the Costa Rican government, because if you look up scarlet macaws in Costa Rica, they've had a hard time breeding them in captivity. You ready for this? They wanted to pay to have me come down to Costa Rica to consult them on, breeding scarlet macaws. And I had to tell Susan, it's like, I don't know a damn thing about it. I bought these birds. I stuck them in a cage. I fed them. What am I going to tell them? I'm lucky. Here's a rabbit's foot. But that's to show you how bullshit can get started, where you can get lucky like I did. It didn't have anything to do that I was, adept at something that they hadn't figured out. I just got lucky, but they were all set to have me come down there and pay me to go down there to try and help them have a more successful breeding program. Which just shows
Mark?
What nonsense stuff.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hi, everybody.
How you doing? Yeah. So I declined. I didn't do it. I thought it would have been fraud.
Hey, Mark.
Hi, everybody.
It's almost as bad as me asking me YouTube advice.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, that's right. That's no kidding, man. They're beautiful birds, scarlet macaws. I learned that the hard way, too. I just decided one day, I had some birds get out. And they were flying around, swooping down. I thought, right then, you have these moments, whatever. And I thought, I don't want to do this anymore, man. I don't want to have birds in cages. That's also why I don't have an aquarium. It's not the same. Now, if I had a chance to maybe breed something that, you could introduce back to the wild, I'm all for that. But I don't want to do it,
Yeah, having pets is a weird thing, right?
Yeah, a domesticated dog, that's okay. I'm not really a cat guy, but I don't want to be out. I'd love to go and dip out some fish out of the local lakes, and put them in an aquarium, but I just don't think it's cool.
Dropping them.
I don't even want to put ants in an ant farm anymore.
Yeah. That's why zoos are declining in visitors now, too. Nobody's going to them because they disagree with the whole concept.
Oh, of keeping a zoo?
Yeah.
Well, here's another thing too. I uploaded that video today of that donkey basketball. I don't know if you saw it or not. Where
I didn't get a chance yet.
Yeah, well, you're not missing much. But what happens is I'll be scrolling through my old videos, and I just uploaded that because I thought, well, something different. It's probably 8 years old. But then I got thinking about it later, and I thought to myself, I bet you they don't even do that around here anymore. And these days of like taking donkeys and shooting baskets, riding on their back, I think are over. I'll bet you money that's not happening around here anymore. I mean, they seem like they had good care, but it just seems. But here you go nobody's trying to shut down the Kentucky Derby, are they?
No, not yet. Big money maker.
Yeah.
Too much money there. Too much money there.
I mean, there's a whole like show and promenance like surrounding that thing. So, yeah.
Hey, Jill, hyacinths.
Tradition.
Those were the only macaws that I didn't have, Jill. Hyacinths. I'll tell you a funny thing on hyacinths. We get bad weather down there once in a while. Two pairs of hyacinths got away from a guy that was a big breeder. He owned 160 McDonald's franchises.
Wow.
I didn't know him, but he didn't live far from. Anyway, a shit ton of cages blew over. The birds got loose. So I know two people that caught these breeding pairs of hyacinths back then, and this was mid 80s. They were 35, 40,000 a pair.
Whoa.
They end up catching these. The birds got hungry. They've been in a cage their whole life. They didn't have a food source, right? So it was a family, and they caught all four of these. They end up grabbing them, and they're taking them back. These hyacinths end up biting them. They let go, and they take off again. But long story short, they ended up catching them again, and they were returned back to their place. But yeah, hyacinths were just way too expensive. I mean, I could have, 500 I could have 2,000 African grays for a pair of hyacinths, and they didn't breed very well. They ate those Brazil nuts. Beautiful birds, though.
Brazil nuts. Those are like macadamia nuts, right?
Mm-hmm. The big black ones.
Yeah.
The ones that you get nobody eats when you get a big.
That's right. Yeah, they always get left behind.
There's a bad name they call them, but I don't want to.
Oh yeah, don't go there. Do not go there.
Yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about, don't you, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good experience. I'm glad I got out of it, though. Yeah, I almost lost my ass. If I'd have stayed in that 6 more months, I'd have probably never recovered financially.
It seems like a pretty big risk to take to get into something like that.
Well, here's what happened, is CITES, which is the World Organization of birds and endangered species, they ended all wild caught imports. So you couldn't bring in any wild caught imports. They trap them in Guyana or Costa Rica, wherever. Then they go into quarantine stations, and then guys like me and go down and buy 20 of them or 30 of them, whatever. Well, that's why I got into it, because I knew that they were going to end the wild caught import. So there were guys like me that just rolled the dice, went out and bought a bunch of them. But the opposite happened. What happened was there were a lot of guys thinking like me. So all of a sudden, 2 years later, there were way more parrots than there would have been because of people that did what I did. And it dropped the price, and there wasn't any money in it. And it's hard to breed parrots in captivity. It's not like chickens. It's like they're very finicky and get spooked easy.
Well, you were saying that you had to put in an application to breed some other bird.
Yeah, Queen Bavarian conures.
How come you have to have an application to breed those and you don't with some of these other ones?
A worldwide endangered species. And
okay.
Yep. And they wanted to make sure that they were going to have people that were doing it, that weren't going to be having babies and selling them and not telling you about. I mean, there's a theory out there that the worst thing you can do for an animal is put it on the endangered species list.
Right.
A billionaire kook out there wants one, and he'll pay whatever he has to get something and get it. It's crazy. I mean, you look it up here. They find, crocodiles in the Detroit River and all sorts of crazy shit. People have no regard for, it's a novelty. They treat it like a Beanie Baby.
Right, and then they find out that it gets really big and they release it in crazy places.
Yeah, and I know people that lost their ass in emu and ostrich farms.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they lost their damn ass. Just tell you a funny thing, man. I remember I knew a guy that bred ostriches. He said they'd kill you. They'd take that middle spike and kick you right through the heart. And
Oh, wow.
I was just watching they're 450 pounds.
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
watching a YouTube video night, and this girl, real pretty blonde, looks like she's ought to be a model. She showed you how to survive an attack with a ostrich. And she goes out there and one thing was put your hand high. And the other thing was she would hold her hand right on his neck, like right where it goes into the body. And this ostrich couldn't do shit. When you've got your hand on that part of his throat, he doesn't have the leverage to kick very far. He was trying to, but it worked like a charm.
Oh,
She's
wow.
walking around
Good to
there.
know.
Yeah, these damn ostriches are trying to kill her, and they're not doing shit because of these cool techniques you learn.
It's the time getting in there to get your hand on that part of the neck between that and getting kicked in the head in the same time.
What they do, though, is they come around, and at first they're trying to size you up, and she walks right up to him.
Oh, yeah, direct.
Yeah, walks right up to him. I mean, they don't have a chance, but it worked like a charm. Once it's something to do with balance and leverage, and she couldn't.
Center of gravity sort of thing.
Center of gravity. Yep. African greys are good talkers. I think they got a good marketing program. I always thought yellow-naped Amazons were better talkers. That's just my opinion, Joe.
African greys can be loud, squawking birds. I had a friend with one. And hers was loud, and it was just the highest screech that you could possibly come up with.
Yeah, there's two kinds. There's the Congo and the Timna. I had mostly Congos, the bigger ones. Yeah. They're more like a starling. And if they're not hand-fed, you can forget about taming one down. I mean, you may touch his head every other year. They're mean birds that can bite harder than hell. Yeah, Congos. Oh, did you have one, Joe? Did you have one? I just don't think it's cool to have them in a damn cage. But I've had new people with Amazons that were just like crazy good talkers. I'll tell you, I've heard parakeets talk really well.
I had one that talked.
Really?
Yeah, had a couple that talked actually. It said words like kiss, kiss, and mommy and stuff like that.
Minor birds. Yeah, minor birds too. Minor birds are filthy though. That's a wet, fruity diet.
Oh, okay, yeah. And they shit a lot.
Yeah, big time.
Every 20 minutes or so, they'll let one go.
Whatever happened to that bird you had?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Which one? I've had several. I've had a couple of cockatiels and a couple of and at least 3 or 4 parakeets over the years.
Did the cockatiels talk?
Cockatiels I had to give away.
Why?
Circumstances that I couldn't keep them. I couldn't look after them anymore. I was too busy to spend the proper amount of care and time that I thought that they needed. So I gave them to a gentleman who took really good care of them. In fact, I found out one was after the fact. I found out that they were a breeding couple and they had laid an egg in their new environment.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. They wouldn't lay an egg in my environment, I think, because of the budgies that lived with them, the parakeets that lived with them. Yeah. But because they all lived in the same cage, they insisted on it. I kept open door cages so they could fly around, but they all slept in their cages. And I learned my lesson there, too, because they crap a lot. Thankfully, they pick 1 or 2 places that they hang out, and they crap. But they still crap a lot, birds. So if you want to have an open cage policy with them, you're constantly picking up after them.
Monkeys the same way. Monkeys
yeah.
I'll soft right next to Mama.
Hey, you want to see a cute video on YouTube? There's a lady that rehabs.
Oh, sorry, I was talking to my dog.
Fruit bats.
Oh yeah, fruit bats. Wow.
She feeds them bananas. They're super cute. She feeds them bananas. They're so cool looking. You're right about that. No pug. They mimic. They don't really talk. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, there's some that Richard Attenborough, that BBC. They've got a thing on birds where the bird of paradise. That's a good mimicker. It sounds just make a noise. Sounds just like a chainsaw.
Anything
Chainsaw,
he
wow.
does is wonderful.
What's that, Jackie?
Anything that he does is wonderful.
Oh,
Richard Attenborough.
yeah. No, I agree.
yeah, he is great.
You know, they tried to do a series because he's up there. You know, he's really old,
Yeah.
and they had Oprah interview and do the narration, and it just the numbers were like way different.
I believe that.
The
Yeah.
color purple didn't do too hot either. In other words, keep to talk shows.
Well, I don't think she's worrying about money.
No, she's not. No,
Does she still have a talk show, Oprah?
no.
It's all done, eh?
She's worried
She
about.
doesn't need to.
I
She's
think
worried about Gail.
she has some stuff that's kind of like on her own network and
Hi, David.
YouTube
Oxygen.
and
Oxygen.
things like that.
Dave. Oxygen. Jackie, is there anything you can do to help her come out of the closet?
No.
Yeah, that's what I think.
No.
Her supposed fiance. What the hell's his name?
He's an ex NBA,
No,
superstar.
no, he's not. You're thinking of Jason Williams.
No.
No, her. She doesn't have any ex NBA superstar boyfriend, fiance. I'm talking about that guy. What is his name? Oprah's fiance. Of course, they'll never get married.
I only know Stedman.
Stedman, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But I had gay. A lot of the doormen in Chicago. Why I don't know. Doesn't matter. At my building were gay, and they said they ran into Stedman from the time they went to gay bars, right up until I moved. That's not legit. I don't think.
Oh, they ran into him in gay bars?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Stedman's gay.
Well, I don't know, man. Wow.
I don't care if they're gay.
No.
The only thing that bothers me is when they go out of their way to try to make me believe they're not. Then I start getting aggravated.
Yeah, when they're hypocritical.
What's your take on that?
Can you elaborate on this, please? I would like to hear more about your take on that particular subject.
Well, I think let me just put it to you this way. You know, Oprah's. I don't care right out of the chute, right? Oprah's production crew. There were probably the condo I lived in. I think was 380 units, and probably 30 people in there worked for Oprah, and they were all gay. Now, does that make Oprah gay? It does not. But when you plug in the Stedman story, when you plug in Gail, even it's not my business, I know. But she's went out of her way to make this facade believable with the Stedman. And that's the part that aggravates me a little bit. Not even that much.
Okay, so he played college football or basketball.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
it's Hardin Simmons College, which I don't.
Yeah, where's that? Anybody ever heard of it?
It's in Harpo Industries. I don't know.
Yeah, Harpo Industries. That was the name of her thing. I ran into her twice in Borders books without makeup.
Oprah.
And I
Really?
walked up to her. I walked up to her and I said, "Hey, Oprah, I thought Roots was over." She said, "Hey, fuck you." No.
You did.
I did. No, believe it or not, you know, hey, I got next to her though, and I wanted to see what the hell she was doing in there. One time she was reading a People magazine, and the other time she was reading a Monthly Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she seemed cool. I mean, super successful. There used to be a great sushi place right down from her over off Randolph Street. I never went to the show.
She's shown herself without makeup, many times, and she certainly does not look the same at all.
Who does?
Right. Well, some
True.
people are more. My daughter naturally looks good, but I never.
Yeah. Naturally looks good.
A lot of people.
You're biased. Let me mark Oprah.
It's so funny because
Yeah.
she doesn't even realize the recognition that she gets, because when I'm out with her somewhere, I constantly see guys checking her out, and she's oblivious to it. She just doesn't think that way.
Yeah. Well, when it starts to fade away and the bag boy's not flirting with her, she'll be hitting the panic button and getting Botox and hair extensions and nails.
Oh gosh, no. She just cut 10 inches off her hair, donated it to Locks of Love.
Oh, wow.
And she's going to Costa Rica in, now 18 days.
Costa Rica's a nice place.
Yeah,
I hear.
You can't make any money down there, but it's beautiful.
Her
That's the problem
boyfriend.
with those kind of economies. There's like not a lot of growth potential.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. Yep.
Isn't it a good place to go and retire, though, if you have some American dollars?
Yeah.
You say
That's a different thing altogether, though.
They say that, but it's like anything else. Anybody I ever knew some guys that had a couple $1,000,000 and moved to Taiwan, moved to Malaysia. They were going to get blowjobs all day long, then end the day with sushi and then sleep in. That lasts for a year or two. Every single person I know that did some crazy shit like that ended up coming back to where they left. Florida's another example. Anybody that was young enough to get the hell out of there and come back to where they left did so.
It's a nice place to visit.
Nice place. Jackie, does she have a boyfriend?
Yeah, it's her boyfriend, and 4 of their friends are all going together.
Oh, okay, good for them. They have a good time. What's the boyfriend do?
Well.
Yeah, I got it. You don't need to go.
No. He inherited some money and became a hippie and did the van around the country thing, and then kind of took over the family business. But in spite of doing that, which is Airbnbs and rental properties and things like that, and he works at like the place that's like the local health cool place to go called the Swamp Rabbit Cafe a few days a week, and he takes it very seriously. He's just like a prep cook there, but he puts his heart and soul in it. He's a really great guy, and he's really good with his money, and
so you're happy.
I'm happy for her.
Oh, good for you. Good.
How old is she?
She's let's see, in June she'll be 29.
Oh yeah.
The best years of her life.
Good for him. Of course, this guy.
And he's 11 years older and never been married. So
that lucky motherfucker.
Yeah, seriously.
Have you ever seen him without a smile on his face?
Well, he's an engineer. He's a genius. He really is, and just doesn't. I don't know. Just doesn't live extravagantly at all.
Yeah, he probably slaps himself every morning and wants to make sure this is real.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. Great.
Inherited money, gorgeous girlfriend, fucks around at her job because he's having fun. Who wouldn't be in a good mood, right, Mark?
Yeah. Sounds like a good life.
She is. Listening to the Love and Spoonful.
Don't call on your cronies
Yeah.
with this little absurd monologue, Tom.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good for her.
The world's a crazy place, huh?
I'll give you 10-1 odds. Neither one of them know where each of them lives 10 years from now.
That's a funny thing.
Isn't that funny how life works?
Well, he's almost 40, so I mean, I think he's in a good place. I think they're kind of in a good place together, but we'll see. Yeah. If anybody knows, things change.
How long they been dating?
2 years.
Okay.
2 is not very many.
Hey, Mary.
Hey, Mary, how you doing?
Hi, Mary.
Hey, Mary.
Oh, good for him. Congratulate him for me, will you?
Yeah.
No, I won't, Tom, but I love you.
See how life Opening doors and closing doors. There's some son of a bitch out there that's 40, that's still a virgin, living in his mom's basement, 6 months behind on rent. And there wasn't a goddamn thing he could do about it.
Yeah.
Well, we're
life's
all
not fair.
slaves for our own existence, I guess.
Yeah, life's not fair.
Oh man. Yeah. But maybe there's a different way that it could have gone down.
He goes to see a psychiatrist at $230 an hour, and he says, "You just have to work harder."
Yeah.
Here, let me give you these special pills. They'll make you work harder.
There's guys that pay $1 million to have a 29-year-old cute girlfriend. Here.
Yeah, I mean that's literally just the way the world is.
Yeah,
right
it's the way it works. Yep. Well, good for them. It's a moving target.
I like how you keep saying "good for him." What?
Well, he got lucky. I mean,
I mean we're all lucky to be alive in one way or another, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's
You
not.
know, just look on Instagram. If you've got $1 million and you want a 29-year-old girlfriend and you're over 50, you just look there and you'll find them.
Yeah, TikTok too.
Is it like that too? Catfish?
As it turns out, there, I've heard anywhere from 15 to 20% of them are basically escorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which is why I don't watch it.
No, I'm gonna close my Instagram.
I can't
It's
deal with
useless.
TikTok. I looked at TikTok for like 5 seconds and I was like, this is mind poison. I need to turn this off immediately.
There's a girl named Miranda Derrick. She's from Michigan, actually. And she is just such an unbelievable dancer. I don't know how they remember these moves. Look her up, Miranda Derrick. Just super cute. And her dancing is just off the charts. I mean, she's really fun to watch. And I'm sure if I had $2 billion in the bank, I would send her Christmas presents. Yeah, but I've never seen dancing that good in my life. This Charlie, whatever her name is, this famous girl on TikTok. Have you seen her?
No.
Got like 10 billion. I think she's good.
We're obviously.
Wait. Is it from the Korean dance studio?
Korean?
Is it related to the Korean dance
studio? No.
Oh,
she's a hell of a dancer. I mean, but this Miranda Derrick, take a look at her. If you're a guy out there and you're not gay.
Yeah, I'm trying to look right now.
Yeah, Miranda Derrick.
Derrick or Carrick?
No, Derrick. Derrick. Miranda Derrick. Okay. If you just push her in Google, you'll see her. And it'll lead you to a TikTok or a YouTube video.
All right.
I mean, I've never seen dancing that way in my life. I mean, it's like you got the best gymnast in the world, and she's so cute. Just her facial expressions, and I love everything about her.
All right, Tom, I have a recommendation for you.
Yeah.
You should look at the Italian track and field high jump and
I know. I saw that. No, I saw that. There's a blonde too. There's a blonde high jump, like world class high jumper. Yeah, I know. It's unbelievable. You know, they're like 6'2", perfect bodies, gorgeous, not an ounce of fat, nice. No, I know. But check out. Did you find her, Mark?
How's Derrick spelled again? D-A-R.
Yeah, I found her on
R-R-I-C-K. Miranda Derrick. M-I-R-A-N-D-A.
Yeah. Popular dancer and Instagram star.
Yeah. D-E-R-R-I-C-K. She's not an Instagram star yet, but she's gonna be.
She has an article on some kind of weird website.
Yeah, I hate to say this, but I've seen her without makeup. She's not that great.
That's the funny thing about makeup, right?
But when she's dolled up in those must be custom clothes she has.
Oh yeah, she's pretty.
Watch her dances.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's like that. In the end, it's like, what? Yeah,
No, her dancing is unbelievable.
It
I
is,
just
eh?
we'll have to check it out.
I would
Is it
like
like that shuffle step stuff?
No, it's the most
Popular?
fantastic moves and stuff. These facial expressions. And it's
All right,
you
I'm
have to
looking
rehearse
into
it a million times.
I got the audio muted, but I'm looking at
The
their
one thing
thing.
I find a little strange though is I can't find any video of her talking or being interviewed.
Oh,
I don't know whether she's got a speech impediment or a missing front tooth.
yeah. Remember Arnold Schwarzenegger's first American movies?
Yeah.
I think he played Hercules or
Yeah.
something like that,
Yeah.
and they gave him a stunt voice,
Yeah.
a stand-in.
I remember that.
Hey, Bopok.
Yeah, what's up?
Mark, can you put a link to one of her TikTok dances?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at a compilation video right now.
Yeah,
and,
put a link to it, will you?
yeah, and she definitely does some of this kind of like shit they call shuffle step.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, I would say very impressive. Like
I agree, Mary.
movement. I'll put a link. Yeah.
Big time, man. I mean, I would pay to just watch her dance. She's that good.
Yeah. It's like a very specific skill that is important in doing kind of like this style of dancing.
No, yeah, it makes dance stars look like bullshit.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do a link, Bobok?
The video.
Put that link on, will you?
Yeah. Give me a second.
Yeah, make sure it's not Linda Lovelace, the other one you cut.
The other one.
I'll be porn bombed. Yeah, Def. You know that's a good. That's
yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's why I have my camera off. I'm getting ready to pour bomb.
You know, Jill brought up a point. Def, maybe that's a good. That's something to think about.
Oh, could be.
Yeah.
Imagine that though. That makes her dancing even more incredible.
No, Def, that'd be great. That sounds. She's even. Yeah, she's. I don't think she's like beautiful. I think she's very attractive, but her facial expressions, and if you watch these, man, I mean,
when she dances, yeah, I know what you mean.
God, man, this is, and she just seems like a cute. You know, she doesn't look like a Kardashian horror.
Right.
You know, it
maybe,
just looks.
And maybe the facial expressions are kind of over exaggerated because of some kind of like deafness or something.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah.
Okay, we got to find out for sure.
There's a lot of good dancers in the world.
Yeah, but she, to me, she is like off the charts.
So this is kind of like what we were talking about earlier, you know.
All American girl, you're right. I see you. Will you put
the more people there are, the more good dancers there's going to be, and then it's just like, oh yeah, good dancer. It's like they might be exceptional. Like if you just like transplanted this person into 100 years ago, they might be like a superstar of the generation.
Would you agree she's better than ordinary?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, they obviously like trained, and they also have talent.
How about this? Every cute girl in the world her size could not do that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It's like Michael Jordan, like, you know, talent.
With like dancing stuff, there's a couple things that are like very noticeable, and yeah, one of the big ones is kind of like precision.
Okay. They're not married,
you know.
Yeah,
like being able to like get like very precise certain motions in time at particular intervals, you know.
Yeah. Hey, do you have that link? Do you have that link?
She's from Michigan, actually.
Yeah, she is. Yep.
Miranda Derrick.
Oh, she's from Michigan?
Yeah.
Yeah. She was on So You Think You Can Dance. Remember that show?
If they got married, it's recently, Frisky. Oh, she was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Christine.
I just saw her on TikTok. Oh yeah, phenomenal. That's what I thought too.
Tom, are you getting into the whole TikTok thing?
No, I'm not. No.
Okay.
I've never been on it before. Is there anything there?
I tried looking at it for like a half second, and it just made me very mad. And I had to turn it off.
My prostate couldn't take it.
Yeah.
My son and my friend from Cincinnati that I stayed with both send me TikToks, and I know they send me, and then they're either really emotional one way or laughing really loud, and I'm like, I look at them and I'm like, oh, okay. I don't get it. It's not for me. I don't know if it's my age or what, but it just doesn't do anything.
Yeah, but there's
what don't you get? Could you say that again?
TikTok. I just don't, like humor that people
I don't get it
spin
either.
It just doesn't speak to me. And my son really wants me to sign up on TikTok with my heart.
No, I tried. I got a video up there. I think maybe one. I didn't know. I didn't like Instagram either. Facebook, I didn't like it. But there's some cool things on TikTok.
Well, that's how I learned about ashwagandha. My son actually learned on TikTok about that. And
oh, really?
I can give huge props to that, but
that's why YouTube came up with shorts.
Yeah.
To compete with TikTok.
Yeah, they're copying TikTok for 100%.
And you don't get paid, or it doesn't. Your shorts don't count towards your 4,000 hours. By the way.
Yeah, they don't. I think it's like, I mean, it's this freaking thing. The robots are stealing your luggage, man. That's what it is. They're all trying to funnel us into like, oh hey, the algorithm wants this, so feed it. Feed the algorithm, right?
Yeah. I never even ran across the bio of Miranda. I don't know what the deal is with her. She's been dancing since a kid, probably.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I think she's got it all.
I have a who is Miranda Carrick husband and age details explored up, and it says that
they weren't married. The last that I knew, they were engaged.
She's famous enough that she has like celebrity gossip websites written about her.
Oh,
like,
she does.
That's what it is.
She's engaged to James Derrick, another well-known dancer.
Yeah, but why aren't there any interviews? Is there something to her being deaf?
It says nothing about that.
Huh. But it's a little odd she's not being interviewed places.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
But it's not that odd that it just hasn't been captured on video. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's probably kind of like, like the cusp of breaking. It's just that you happen to run into her right at this time. Because, I mean, Billie Eilish was, kind of like low-key celebrity until then she made it big. And
that's a good guess, though, Jill. I mean, and honestly, I'm telling you straight that, I'm a big Pornhub fanatic. I admit to that. But when I watch her dance, it's not like I'm imagining her nude for all the people thinking this shit. I think she's just a cute, killer dancer, man. To me, that dancing is off the charts. I never saw it that good.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to have your well-executed dance be performed by a attractive young female.
Yeah, and I don't
that's effective.
Yeah, it's an effective.
I see.
She's not the prettiest girl I've ever seen, but she is cute.
Yeah, she's fine. Yeah,
I bet she's 5 foot tall, 95 pounds. You can tell she's small.
I don't think my bio here says her size. 24. That's it.
Yeah, but I do check them out, and she's coming out with songs constantly. Another thing I wonder too is when you actually get a TikTok song like that, if that's 100 takes before you get it that perfect. And she's doing them with another person most of the time.
I think it's there's two aspects of this. There's definitely a natural talent, aspect to a lot of this kind of thing. but you can't discount the fact that a lot of this is drill. It's rehearsal.
Christine.
You know, you have to spend like I'm a musician, and there is nothing that I could do that I didn't spend like 100 hours doing previously.
Yeah.
On like any instrument, you just have to put in the time, and then you can do it.
That's what it is. It's time and effort.
And Mark knows this. Like any musician would tell you the same.
Mark,
I would think.
Hey, Mark. Now
Yeah.
this is guy. Now this is guy talk. So all the women out there, please don't be offended. But Mark is gonna. Mopak, you're not quite there yet, but I can run this by Mark.
Be offended by me, Tom? Oh no.
Mark.
Yes.
I bet you're
Never.
terrible in bed.
I am?
She is.
Oh, why would you say that?
It doesn't translate like that.
Oh, yeah?
Uh-uh.
Huh. I have to see her dancing before I come with that assumption, Tom.
It doesn't translate like that. Jill seems to be up on this stuff. She gets it. Jill, are you a guy? You're not a guy, are you? God, you came back quick with that. No, all that shit's like that, though. You go to a topless, a topless dancer, and they slide down that pole, and they tip upside down, and they grind it and hump it all the way down. They can't even kiss worth a shit.
Yeah, I see what you mean now. It doesn't transfer.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. That's why Arnold Schwarzenegger was banging the maid.
That's jazz, baby.
That's why Arnold Schwarzenegger was banging the maid.
Yeah.
He probably said to himself, shaving the next morning, finally, some good sex.
And she wasn't even that good looking.
No, it didn't need to be. It was good sex. That's exactly right. This is my whole point.
Yeah.
And not only that, and under the worst circumstances, he even fired away.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, this is real guy talk.
Yeah.
No,
it's true, though.
Yeah, it's true. And I bet, he never, one thing I give old Arnold for, he never apologizes for anything.
No, that's absolutely right.
Oh, no.
I bet he had to let Maria Shriver, who's manly looking to me.
I hope you saved the bloomin' onion.
Oh, Christopher!
Yeah, but I think that all made perfect sense to me. I bet Maria Shriver, she had sex to have kids, and that was it. Besides, she looks kind of manly to me.
Yeah, Maria Shriver?
Yeah. Just kind of like Brooke Shields look.
She came from a lot of money, did she not?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
I'm sure he was in the full-time ass-kissing mode.
Yeah, she's the Kennedy.
Yep.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Yeah. But I never really found her attractive at all.
Did they call her dad or her grandfather the Commodore or something like
that? Yeah, strong jaw. You're right, Jill. Yep. That clutch cargo jaw. That squared off like airline pilot face.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not feminine.
It's handsome.
Yeah, handsome. It's not family. Yeah, you're right. Yep, handsome. But I know a guy in Chicago like that he was into that square jaw looking, like almost manly looking women. It was weird.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's probably an androgynous thing,
Yeah, it is. Yep. But people are attracted to everything. So why couldn't that be one of them?
There's a very large gray area, I think.
What part?
Of what people are attracted to.
Why would you call it gray?
Gray in that it's like you can't say for certain that it's one thing or another.
No, it's all over the board.
It's all over the board. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own thing,
You could end up having a 50-year gold wedding anniversary, be in prison the rest of your life, all because of the way you perceive sex and what you like.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
We're all crazy.
It's true. Yeah.
I think as long as minors aren't involved and people are consenting.
Yes, that I agree with those statements.
Of somewhat mentally sound mind, that's a really broad spectrum. So
No, I think so too.
Yeah, I think people should do what they feel is right for them.
I say if it feels good, do it. I got your vote.
Life's too damn short.
I think it is too. I just don't think it's people's business. I mean, I'm not quite on board with parades and shit because of your sexuality. I mean, I guess you can do what you want if you want to organize one and people show up. But I mean, to me, it's like,
What do you mean, like gay pride?
yeah, I mean, I'm cool with it. It's fine, have it, but I just don't think it's necessary.
Well, it's not, because it's not for you. I guess it's for the people that feel like.
When's the last time you went to a straight parade?
Well, because what would be the need for it? It's acceptable.
I think because the majority are straight.
Yeah, but what's the need for a gay parade? We know they're out there. It's accepting. People are cool with it. Why have a parade?
No, because it started when people were very unaccepting of it.
Yeah, but now, I'm talking about now.
Now I think it's turned into kind of a little bit of a freak show. And
Yeah.
It has. We have one here in Toronto every year, and it's a real show.
yeah.
I always was scared to get.
Circus.
I tell everybody I'm scared to get caught by one of the local news agencies on television while I'm downtown during that, because everybody's going to think that I was attending it.
You wouldn't care, though, would you, Mark?
No, I'm open. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I wouldn't give a fuck. I tell people all the time, I wish I did like dick. It's cheaper.
Well, the people that are bothered by it are really like closet somethings.
Christians.
They may not be closet
Yeah.
gay.
Some maybe, but
Closet
you know.
curious and offended
I
by
mean,
their
I
own
think
curiosity.
you're talking about repressed emotions, right? And a lot of people have those kind of things, and
Not anymore.
less so now.
They have more rights than you do.
We have a different problem psychologically. I think, like, it's not that the emotions are repressed. It's like you can't even figure out. You're having too many emotions. There's too many things. There's too much information, like, being blasted into your head, and you're going crazy. Pretty much.
I don't know why I thought of this. I can remember reading a Playboy survey. This was probably 30 years ago, and they said that the average male, whatever that is, by the time they reached 50 years old, had one homosexual experience. I don't believe that.
I don't. It never happened to me.
Wait,
No,
what? What? Say that one more time.
The average heterosexual male, by the age of had one homosexual experience in his life by the time he reached 50. I don't either that or all my friends are lying.
What counts as a homosexual experience?
Well, and what's average?
Like
Each
if
average
you like sucking a
male.
dick, that's one thing. But like did like your best friend like put his arm around you and say,
I
love you, man?
No, I don't think that would be no.
Like, is that a homosexual experience?
That's not a homosexual experience.
There, you're one of them now.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, I think it'd be an actual defined sex act.
I just think it's so silly. Like I honestly I just don't give a shit about any of this. I think it's nonsense and stupid. It's like how much time in your day do you want to spend thinking about this? And for me, it's about 17 minutes a day. I will think about sex acts.
Here's the deal.
That's my statistic.
17 minutes.
Here's my
Christopher.
Hey, this is what I find interesting. You can set people up on things. You'll talk to people. You'll get in a discussion like we are now about sex. Now talk to women. Do you have a problem with homosexual? No. Do you know gays? Yes, I do. They're my best friends. It just goes on and on, right? And then I hit them with, well, how about this? What if you'd have known your husband sucked a dick 20 years ago? How would you feel about it? Boy, that shuts them the fuck up.
Yeah, I guess it
Say
would.
that again. I was reading Hey Pug's comment.
I tell them, I set women up, do you have a problem with gays? No, they have gay friends. They love gays. Everything's positive, right? And then I hit them with, what if you found out your husband sucked a dick 20 years ago? And that shuts them the fuck up every time.
Really?
Really.
Yeah.
And they stop, and nobody ever comes out with an answer right away. And then they you can see the wheels spinning, and you just set them up on there's nothing wrong with gays, and gay rights are great. My best friends are gay. So what's the problem with something that happened 20 years ago before you were even married, and they can't really answer it?
No,
What do
I
you
just
think? What do you think that comes from? Because I don't
Yeah,
know.
I wish I knew, because try it sometime.
I think the problem probably is something else altogether. In my experience, at least, it usually is something else. It's like I feel like people who, uh, went, with some exceptions for sure, when everything else is sorted out, I think that sometimes the like sexual aspects of relationships just kind of fall into place.
I don't quite understand
Yeah, I
what you
don't either,
mean.
man. What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm saying that all right.
All right,
This
let's
one I gotta compromise my
cut to the
thoughts a
chase.
little
How
bit
many
here.
dicks have you sucked?
0.
Oh, okay. Okay, then what do you mean?
Well, I'm trying to think of a way to describe this without like going to like nutso blitz here. I think that like to have a relationship with anyone, you have to kind of it's like at least like a pretty part-time job. Like you put as much time into it as you're willing to, and like the sex is like
True, a lot.
the like part that comes on top of it. It's not necessarily the like the basis of it, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was just gonna say
That's what I was
here
trying to
to
say
help.
that in a backwards way. I don't know. I don't know what I think. I don't know how to say what I think about this.
Hey, how about this? Let me run this by. I can ask Mark, my go-to guy. Mark,
yeah.
do you think you're a better man because you don't like dick?
No, I
Me
mean,
neither.
what kind of question is that?
Well, the question is like you're not better than anybody else because it doesn't interest you. You're not more of a man because you don't have gay tendencies. That's the point.
Yeah, no, I think that it's no.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
mean,
Same here.
there are some gays that are very feminine, and
Yeah.
there's some gays that are very masculine,
Yeah.
and there's some heterosexuals the same. I know of heterosexuals that talk in a very feminine way, and you would think this guy is gay for sure, but he's not. He's got a wife and kids. He just chooses to talk like really sweet kind of talk like that.
But you don't think you're a better man because you don't like guys.
No,
No,
of
me
course
neither.
not.
Me neither.
No.
How about you, Bopak?
Yeah, I don't I literally just don't care about it.
Well, that's
I find it
from my
interesting to
take
think
on life.
about, but I don't
That's
normally like it doesn't consume my mind, if that makes sense.
Like what I think with like homosexuality, I think it's like I
Thank you, June Lockhart.
I think like okay, so what would make you think that you're a better man than somebody else?
I don't, but I
No,
know
like what would like
they brag that they're this virile, macho,
no,
football.
there are guys that are really threatened by it, and it's not these guys, which is why I like them all because they're not those kind of guys.
A lot of people are like that, though.
Yeah,
do you
they're very
ever
threatened by it.
Michelle, you're tapping into a real thing. Come on, we're not lying.
Hey, no, hey, here's the she's very religious.
No, but Michelle, you're getting into something that I think is important here, because there is a lot of people who put on like the show. They're trying to put themselves out there and display the curated fictional version of themselves, right?
right.
And what's the end goal for that? You know, it depends on the person, but I think that you can get really confused when you start doing that too much. I don't know what else to
So I
say
mean, like,
about this.
what would you feel like a good? But okay, I'll put it to you like this: What would you feel? What would you consider a characteristic of a good person?
Not be a hypocrite and not be evil.
And to watch porn a lot.
Well,
I'm
that's
said too many
debatable.
jokes already.
Someone you can rely on, someone faithful,
Hey, now, while
someone.
we're on this subject, I got one for everybody. Why does the average straight male seem to have an attraction to lesbian videos?
Well, so that's a funny thing that you say, Tom, because I honestly, from like an early age when I started becoming interested in such videos, never thought that the lesbian videos were interesting.
See, my buddy's like that too.
Yeah, I
Mark,
think it kind of is a coin flip on
Mark,
that.
help.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really watch a lot of porn, to tell you the truth, so I don't have any preferences
Good
either
for you,
way.
Mark.
Yeah.
It's not
We
the
all
best
break
hobby.
out. Why don't we all break out? Hey, why don't we say a prayer for silence for 30 seconds?
No, I have enough of the live stuff during that I don't really, it doesn't interest me. I got enough going on. I don't know. You got me backed in a corner here now.
So two good-looking lesbians going at it wouldn't do anything for you?
Yeah, I'm not saying that I wouldn't. I wouldn't like. I wouldn't cover my eyes.
Oh, good. We're getting somewhere.
I mean, I think it might be different with Tom because Tom's a single guy. You're a single guy.
Nothing to do with it.
Like, there's probably a lot to do with it.
No, I don't think it has anything to do with it. Mark's married. Opak's got a living girlfriend.
I have a girlfriend. Hello. It's not just a male panel here.
Hey, I hate to break it to you, Michelle, but Jackie switched sides. How many years ago now, Jackie?
Well, it started when I was 40. And I'm 56, so 16 years ago.
Hear that, Michelle? You got 2 years.
Well,
Wait,
do you think
Jackie. I mean, if you don't mind sharing, what are you talking about?
She went from being a married, straight female to
Did you have
a full-blown lesbo.
I've heard this kind of story before, so it's not that surprising to me.
Interesting to you,
Well played,
Jackie.
Tom. Well played with the full-blown lesbo. I love that.
But like Jackie explained this once before, and it makes sense that she was always kind of like this. But you know, you get painted into a corner. You're young. You're confused.
But it's also like sometimes you want to have kids, but then like when you spend a lot of time with someone, it's like maybe I want to spend more time with female, male, whatever. People make these decisions a lot in life, I think.
Jackie, spell it out.
It's pretty common, I think.
You know, I come from a family that has a lot of gay people in it. And there was actually a time when I was in my 20s that I had found Jesus and was preaching to my gay relatives and their siblings about how bad they were in their life. So I've been on both sides of the spectrum, honestly. And
wow,
isn't that something? That's what I thought to myself.
Yeah,
it's crazy, but it's when it became obvious, it was the most natural transition of my life, quite honestly, because I had, even though I'd had kids and had loves, and it just something was always missing, and I quite honestly, not to be overly sharing, but you know, I was abused when I was a kid, and
oh, sorry about that. But you don't really tie that to this, do you?
Well, no, I think it ties it to the fact that I held on to being normal for so long.
Yeah.
That
Sorry,
makes sense.
that
That
of
makes
saying
sense.
something better, but I was so insecure, and I felt, probably betrayed by my dad, who went to Vietnam and came back a mess, and long story there. He's gone now. And then the stepfather, I think I was trying to get men to like me more than I liked them, kind of thing, if that
Gotcha.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
I think it,
way too much sharing. I'm sorry.
No,
No,
that makes perfect sense. Don't worry about it.
That clarifies, Jackie.
Yeah. Sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, sorry, Jackie.
It's really weird, as a side note, and I'm sorry, Michelle, I know you're just about to say something. I'll just finish
it's
up quick.
okay.
But the guy that my mom married that did this to me and beat her profusely was actually an elementary school principal when she met him
Wow.
Wow.
in Muskegon. Then we moved down to Missouri to take over his family little grocery store, and that's when it really went south. But yeah, he was a principal of an elementary school. Kind of scary. He's a scary guy.
What happened to him?
He committed suicide.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
Was this the one with the put the like pipe from the gas or the exhaust pipe from the truck into the passenger seat? And...
No, actually, his family went to church. His family that he had after we were gone. And he went in the backyard. He didn't go to church that day. His dad was actually a Baptist minister.
That explains it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does. And he went in the backyard and shot himself in the head.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Michelle?
Yeah, you either shoot yourself in the head or you asphyxiate yourself. And
Yeah.
Hey, Michelle.
Uh-huh.
I'm a mind reader. Let me tell you people what Michelle's going to say.
Oh, here we go, Tom.
Don't be too mean. Don't be too mean.
You better be
All hands, and we love each other.
Wow.
This is what I have to say about like homosexuals.
Let me take a swig of whiskey.
Like, okay, so most of the time, like most people that I know, so I can't vouch for every single person's story, but the lesbians that I know, and I've known a lot, they usually were lesbians because of a reason. It wasn't just because I'm this sexually attracted to like women, and I knew that at a young age. Like
You mean like
it
Trump
was
stuff, right?
it was like more like circumstances that happened in their lives with men, where gay men that I know knew that they were gay from like 4 years old, and like that they liked men.
Really?
Yeah. No, I'm serious. And I can't say this for everybody. I literally can't say this for every single person, obviously, but the majority of people that I personally have known and talked to and, became friends with, that was the circumstances.
Yeah, I
Wow.
think that sounds pretty correct. Like
Accurate,
I
yeah.
also know a lot of people who are like lesbians, and a lot of them, like dated and had like heterosexual interactions with people, but then like they just like kind of trended in that direction, and then kind of they huddled together into their like lesbian clique.
Yeah,
It's the thing that happens, and it kind of makes sense a lot of the time.
Here's what I think. I think that it's a lot of asexual, man-hating women that
There's that.
dress like dykes that you would think were lesbians, but there's no real pussy eating going on. That's not a lesbian. That's not a lesbian.
Yeah, that's a different thing.
It is, but Michelle isn't privy. They don't come up to her and say, "Hey, could you come over here? Hey, my lesbian lover and I just had sex last night." She's assuming and not realizing sometimes that these are asexual, man-hating women that appear to be dykes that aren't. It's important.
Sometimes that might be.
But how would she know whether it was or it wasn't?
Mm.
Well, most of them,
What she was saying, I think, is like pretty like reasonable though.
It is, but minus her being privy to their sexual activity.
Well, yeah, I mean, you were not all like looking in everyone's bedroom.
I know so many women that I would have thought were lesbians that were not. They were everything but the sex act. They didn't like guys. They never have sex with a guy. They hang around with lesbians, but there's nothing going on behind closed doors. That's not a lesbian.
Well, you know, I've heard a very common story with a lot of lesbian couples is that like they call it the like bedroom death or something like that. It's like as soon as you sort of like pair up with your lesbian partner, it's just like there's no sexual activity at all. It's just gone, you know. And
Really?
I thought that was funny because I think that that's like a universal experience with couples sometimes. You know, it's like
It doesn't isn't a lesbian.
you know, it's not that different really. It's kind of like all the same.
Being
They're
a
like
lesbian
parts of the same.
part of the criteria sex? Because I'm really wrong on this whole thing if it isn't. In order to be a lesbian, is sex part of the equation? Because if it isn't, then I'm wrong.
I think it's about companionship.
Is it a state of mind? Is it a state of mind or a sexual relationship?
I think it's like a heterosexual relationship. It's a balance of everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but could you be a lesbian, two lesbians living in a thing, sleeping in the same bed, and never having sex? Does that make you a lesbian?
All right,
Sounds like maybe an old lesbian couple.
Let's reframe this discussion like a tiny bit because I think that one way of looking at it is that the initiation of the relationship is sexual. It's like you're attracted to this person, but if you're attracted to them and they're like obnoxious, have a terrible personality, you're not going to want to be around them for very long. You just want to fuck them and be gone, like, you know, peace out. But who do you want to be around for a long time? You know, maybe they aren't the most attractive person in the world, but you like them and you find it pleasing to be around them a lot of the time. You know, these are the kind of facets of long-term relationships that I think are super valuable.
Right.
I think they transcend you know, like it doesn't matter if you're straight or gay. Like I think it's the exact same thing for everyone.
But how about this? Is sexual contact part of being a lesbian or not? At any point in the relationship, can you be a lesbian and never had sex with the person you sleep with in the bed every night?
I know the answer you want.
Oh, it's legit.
Well, you know,
I think
I was fucking camping in a pub tent one time with another guy. That was it.
I think if the intimate relationship is deep enough, yeah, maybe.
So what do you call relationships where people can't have sex with the other person for whatever reason? Like, are they not like?
I mean, we have so many relationships in our lives where it's like there is no sex involved.
Right.
You know,
but you're still considered straight.
Well, I mean, yeah. What do you mean? Like, what do you
Well, how
trying
about
to
this?
figure out?
Let's break it down. What's the difference between two good female friends and two good lesbians?
Because they have sex with each other and they're attracted to each other.
No. Tom has a really good point here because there's actually not that much difference.
Thank you.
No, I'm not kidding you on this one. There isn't that much difference. The big difference would be if they refuse to be in a heterosexual relationship, then they would be just good friends and not a lesbian. Something along those lines.
If two people are exclusively intimate with each other, even if it's in a non-sexual way, I think that's still a relationship. I mean, if they're exclusive.
Yeah,
So
that's how I feel about it too. Like, you know, like we all have relationships with other people in various ways. You know, sexual, non-sexual, mostly non-sexual, but
yes, Tom,
yeah,
Go ahead.
I
like
hear
how do you want to like what framework do you want to define it in?
I'll tell you the framework. I'll define it.
Yeah, I mean,
He was
it
living with
isn't that hard. It isn't that hard.
It isn't that hard, but there's a big, huge, giant distinction.
Yeah.
If Jackie would have never had sex with another woman, and her and this lady she's with never had sex ever, they'd be two good friends. Lesbian connotates sex along the way.
Yeah, yeah. I think I
well,
actually
of course,
I
that's
do
always
agree
the
with this
hope.
distinction you
Duh.
Right, Jackie?
It's always the hope. Duh.
It is. It's true.
But my question is, does that even fucking matter?
No.
No.
But don't call yourself a lesbian if you got a female roommate and you're not having sex.
Yeah. But what if we are?
Then you're a lesbian.
Oh, God damn it! Am I a lesbian?
No, that's
I must be.
no,
Christopher, I think you may be a lesbian.
no, that's what you.
I'm a
that's-
lesbian.
no,
You're a lesbian, Bopak.
Yeah, I figured it out. I figured it out long ago.
no, that's what you call pejorative.
That's what you call. What was that, Tom?
It's all fucking so stupid. It's mentally retarded and stupid is what
No,
it
it's
is.
called pejorative. Like if I call Mark, a perfect example of pejorative. If I call Mark a dumb dyke, that's pejorative because he's not a female, he's not a dyke, and he's not dumb. It's called pejorative. So it's impossible.
Pejorative.
Yeah, for him to be.
Could you type it on the screen, Tom, for me to study it later? I've had some wine.
Pejorative?
Yeah,
Jack, you know what I'm getting at, don't you?
I do. I
just think a lot of these women that I've met, they're asexual. They're not attracted to men, and they do their crafts and they travel. And they're not eating each other's out.
Don't.
But people think they're lesbian.
I think you're a lesbian, Tom.
I wish I was a lesbian.
I was like, I wish it could be a woman to be a
I
lesbian.
could take my mind and put it into that Miranda Derrick's body.
Oh, now
Travel around the country.
Now we're getting to it.
Yeah, it's so great. I'd take that over the Powerball.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I see you. You're exactly right.
Okay,
I'd be running cheerleading camps, working in fine dining.
He wants to be Tom, but in that little girl's body.
That'd be so great.
And enjoy life that way. That's what he wants.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Thank you.
Nothing at all.
Tom's had way too much to drink tonight.
Not enough.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I know, not enough. It's not even 11 o'clock yet.
Yeah, Michelle.
What?
Oh, God.
Would you say,
Your turn.
do you have any lesbian friends? Do you have any lesbian friends?
I do, and family members. Why?
You told me about that before, but I mean, other than that, isn't it a cousin that runs that thing?
Yeah.
But other than her.
Yeah, I have lesbian friends. I have friends who are.
So you're cool with it?
I mean, it is what it is. It's not like they're having sex in front of me. I mean, like you don't look at people like you. When you make friends and you make, it's based on common interests. Like your sexual, whatever you do, with your partner, isn't like what you guys talk about. Like that's not something that you just,
Yeah.
Oh, hey, last night, you don't really talk about that, so it's not a big deal.
Oh, I think some friends do. I have some friends that share a lot. Michelle, do you think that the people that are homosexual are going to hell or anything like that?
What was it? I'm sorry.
Do you think homosexuals
Oh,
are
good night,
destined to go to
Simca.
hell?
I think
Good night, Simka.
I think we're probably joking around more than you think.
She's really religious. She believes the Bible 100%.
I know.
Well, that's why
All right,
I
Simka.
was asking. I kind of
I-
wanted to know.
I believe it's a sin. Like, I believe it's against,
Bye,
you know,
Simca.
you're supposed to do it, but like, I don't.
Oh, come on.
But Tom, like, I
Well,
never said.
if you
I
do
never.
believe that,
Wait a minute. So
believe
it's.
that, you're
I
going to hell
believe.
for sure.
I believe it's a sin, but I also believe that a lot of things are sins that we do, and we're all human beings. So it's not like I'm, you know, the final judgment or something. You know,
We're all
somebody's
sinners?
How about,
Is that what you're saying?
Hey, Michelle.
right.
Michelle, how about when you were married and you had your knees bent behind your ears?
What?
Remember the good old days? Was that a sin?
Being married and having sex is not a sin.
I'm talking about before.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. It wasn't. Yeah,
It wasn't bad. It was good. You loved it, which is why you did it more than once. Don't fight it.
it was bad, and I paid for it. So I just want to let you know that if you think that like your actions don't come with consequences, whether you liked them or not, like
Yeah,
they
that's
do.
How about this? You don't think there's any differentiation between what you did and what a lesbo would do now? A sin's a sin.
Right. Yeah. Like, well, unless if you're killing somebody or committing
Are you
adultery.
Catholic?
What's that?
You Catholic?
Yes, I'm Catholic.
Here we go. We're getting somewhere then. Okay.
Yeah. So what do you think about like the different circles of hell, like the different degrees of which?
She believes it. Purgatory, the whole bit.
I
Well,
believe.
I think
I
it's
believe that-
interesting to like
Okay.
yeah, everyone's baseline a sinner, right? But there's certain
Yeah.
things that are
Mhm.
worse than other things, right?
Yeah,
Right.
venial and mortal.
the worst thing that you can do? Like,
Venial
what's
and
the
mortal.
Kill
bottom
somebody.
of hell?
They'll be killing
what's
somebody.
the final circle of hell, right?
Yeah, it would be like killing, like.
Hey, but here's the deal.
I mean, that's where Satan is, right? It's a deception. It's the place
Michelle.
for liars, evil liars.
Michelle, if you're a Catholic and you read Sodom and Gomorrah, the Old Testament, and you read Acts in the New Testament,
But there's
you should not be friends with lesbians and gays.
the new. Yeah, but then the New Testament came out and it's different. So
No, it's
I mean,
not. It
like,
talks specifically about man sleeping with man. It totally is against homosexuality in any facet. The old
How do they
and
put? How do they put it in the Bible
never-
again? One
I
man
never
knowing
once said-
another man.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, knowing is used as a.
See, this is where it's splitting hairs, but something's got to give here. I usually set people up by getting to agree that the Bible was inspired by God, and either you believe it or you don't. You don't take parts that you believe in and parts that you don't. So if Michelle is a Catholic and you went to confession, you said, "Hey, Monsignor, I'd like to talk to you 10 minutes after this," and you sat down, and he gave you a straight answer, which I guarantee you he will do. He will tell you unequivocally that homosexuality is wrong.
Yeah.
And you should not be hanging around with him.
And
And if he's not, then he's in the wrong career.
don't turn around or you'll turn into a pillar of salt.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Exactly it. That's the way it is, man. So
Okay.
you can't have it both ways, Michelle.
here's the breakdown of this, right? Here's the breakdown. So anyone can repent for their sins and repent for what they did, right? And that's up to that person and the Lord. That's not up to like me to like go around like beating people down, because that would just, if every Catholic did that, society would be a mess.
We
Like,
did that,
it's
like in the.
no,
in
I
the
mean like really
1300s.
bad.
Hey,
It was
how about this?
really bad.
Hey, this will go on forever. How about this, Michelle?
Okay.
Are two gays allowed to get married and have confession in your church?
No, you can't get married in
How
a
do you
church.
feel about that?
That's because that's correct. Okay, I'm not saying
Okay,
that.
we're getting
Okay,
somewhere. Bingo.
okay. So what I'm saying
Michelle,
is,
I think
right,
you were
two-
actually like on a decent point. So like say
Okay.
a
He's
little
on
bit
a
more
decent
about what
point
you
as a
were saying.
Catholic.
Yes. Okay.
No,
See.
but
Okay.
I
That's why I'm not a Catholic anymore.
So marriage is
French
a man and
Canadian.
a woman, right? That's what marriage is, right? If a homosexual wants to be with another homosexual, they can go to the courts, get some kind of document, but that's still not involved in the Catholic Church. It's just not,
Right,
you know,
right,
like
right.
I'm not saying that if two people want to love each other, you know, two people want to love each other, but you know,
I mean, there's
that's
something
what marriage is
fundamentally
based
different,
on.
right? Because like you, I mean, I guess like you can do like test tube baby shit and incubate a baby in a lab with like combining the DNA from like two like genomes or whatever. But for the history of mankind, it's like, how do you make a new person? How do you make a new soul? It's a man and a woman. It's like the reason why all this stuff exists, right?
Right. Like
Yeah.
if right, it's just the natural thing. Like if you go against that, then that's what you're going against, and that's up to the individual person because at the end of the day, when you die, when you pass away, when you're on your deathbed, whatever you see and you know from there on, that's you. That's not me. That's not, me because I talked to somebody because they were lesbian or
No, but
gay
this
or
this
whatever.
is where the rubber meets the road. This is why I think Catholics are all nuts.
Yeah. I mean, Tom,
Because you know what,
that's what it is.
you don't have to agree with it, but I think you'll appreciate it. And that is that crazy Catholics actually believe that such thing as deathbed repentance. You got to be fucking kidding me.
Dude,
Crazy.
that's the laziest thing ever.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, no. Are you fucking kidding me?
I agree.
You live a life of sin, and
Yes.
then like, oh my god, I'm dying. I have an ulcer.
No,
I'm dying.
these are the same kooks.
And then it's like, oh yeah,
These are the same kooks that are hugging the guy that killed their
fuck
children.
that. But honestly, like people have been talking about this shit for hundreds of years. It doesn't take hard to find a lot of people talking about this kind of thing. And yeah, like that's the reason why there were so many schisms out of the Catholic Church, is because people thought that this kind of crap was stupid, that it was exploitive mechanism. The Catholic Church was just trying to like farm money off of the peasants. You know, there was a lot of stuff that went on related to Christianity and all that, but that's a too big a topic to delve into right now.
You all want an interesting take on this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my grandparents and my great grandparents and my mom and my dad became Catholic. I was born Catholic, and I was Catholic until my a little past my first Holy Communion, not much, and that's when we moved to Missouri, and all the other stuff happened in my life at that age. But so I come from a really strong Catholic tradition, including many priests in my genealogy, nuns, all that stuff. I can tell you from what I know is that it's more cult-like than I ever realized now being on the outside.
Yeah, I hear
Catholicism.
And
Catholicism.
knowing the history that I know now that I never paid attention to back then of the Catholic Church.
Well, you know, hey, this is Shock. This is Shock speaking. And I really believe that to each his own. You choose the faith, the spirituality, the religion that you want to belong to, or if you don't want to belong to, that's fine. I happen to be Catholic. I was raised that way, and when I became an adult, I realized that I wanted to continue that. So, I'm Catholic. I hear the pros and the cons, but I still say, to each person, you have a belief, you have your own spirituality, your faith. People will call it different things. I have no problem with whether you're Muslim, Jewish, Catholic, Christian, Hindu, or anything else, or atheist. But to me, I have a strong belief in Catholicism. That's part of who I am. It's a big part of who I am, in fact. And it's the way I live. I try to live my life around that. And I know there may be people involved in that religion, just as there are in any religion that we're all imperfect, I guess is what I'm going to say.
Catholics have done a lot of good for society, women's rights, the poor, all sorts of things.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the thing that.
Hey, you look at the hospitals, right? You look at this is shock. Hey, you look at the hospitals, not just in the U.S. here. Okay, the majority of the hospitals run these what they call IDNs, okay, which are large networks, independent delivery networks of hospitals. They come through Catholic funding. You look at what's happening in the world. The missionaries. You take it, Haiti, Africa, so forth. There's good people running that, and there's good money. But by the same token, hey, I hear what you're saying.
No, you're right.
I just hopped into this conversation and I didn't really hear the beginning of it. But I'll tell you, I really, I take it to heart. That happens to be my religion. I live by it. It's done well by me. And hey, I don't, I think the positives outweigh the negatives.
I would agree with that.
I absolutely agree with that. I've known so many great Christians and so many great Catholics in my life. My son's godmother, who was his caregiver, she ran a daycare place in Petoskey back in the day, and her and her husband became godparents. And I mean, she went to Medjugorje and that whole thing with the spiritual awakening, and they ended up starting a retreat there in Petoskey, close to Harbor Springs, which was for priests and nuns to come and, just have a retreat. And they had these statues, like huge, 14, 16-foot statues all around the property. And I can tell you that miracles happened in that woman's life. And I know this person really well. She was not a storyteller in that way. She was just like this round Polish woman, but she went to Medjugorje and went into the church before she went out to see where I think it was called the Three Sisters or something, mound. And her rosary, she had it turned from just common, like metal to gold when she left. And she had a picture of Mother Mary, a Polish picture, that actually wept blood in her tummy in there. I mean, I've seen it. And I know that sounds really crazy. So I think there's something to it. I think there's some magic.
You know what? If that helped her, and in return she was able to help other people, then God bless her. I did a lot of bad things in my life. I did a lot of very bad things in my life. And I happened to have an acute renal failure a couple of years ago. I died on the operating table. I was ventilated. I was intubated. I was put on emergency. What do you call it when they put your blood through a strainer? I was infused, but I was put into a coma. I was in a coma for 4+ days.
Coma, yeah.
And I'll tell you, it became a very spiritual experience for me. And hey, I saw heaven, I saw hell. And to anybody else, they may call me a fucking lunatic, but to me, it was an experience that changed my life. And I believe I was forgiven some of the really horrific things that I'd done in my life.
David, Shock.
And yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Finish that.
Oh, that's all right. So that's that's my life. And, I believe that somebody said earlier that you don't believe in deathbed. Yeah, and again, that's your belief. That's fine. To me, I experienced that, and to me, I really, I had the judgment. I saw the judgment, and I could tell you it would be too long of a story to tell here, but I saw Satan. I saw the demons face to face, and I left. I had a lot of injuries. Interestingly, I've been into martial arts and fighting since I was a kid. I have a 4th-degree black belt. I got into a lot of bad situations. A lot of them I started, so a lot of them I deserved. But my body's taken its toll, and those are times past. But I really do believe through the Catholic faith that I believe that Jesus has forgiven me for some of the things that I did in my time. And, I went on, though, interestingly, I used to operate dojos in Florida, karate schools, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I had gone to school and everything. I became very successful in business, made a lot of money early on, and retired. I was fortunate to retire about 10 years ago and just started doing what I wanted. I didn't want to live the conventional life. And then I ended up having an acute renal failure. But religion, they say religion doesn't become important until you need it, whether you're down and out, laying in an alley like Tom has seen. And that's why I admire Tom for what he does. He's taught. This is what got me involved with Tom, is he's seen it and he's allowed everybody else to see it. People laying in their own filth and vomiting, and that's when spirituality becomes important to you. And Tom has allowed us to see that firsthand, and he's helped so many people. So, I give Tom all the respect. I have all the respect in the world for Tom and what he's done. He's done more than any person I probably know from the ground level, from the street level. So, props to Tom, and that's what keeps me watching him. I really give him a lot of props.
Hey, Shock, did you know Steve Shepard? Did you know Steve Shepard?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so.
Palm Beach? Yeah.
I knew a lot of people in South Florida. I wasn't as much into kickboxing, but in the late 70s and early 80s, I used to compete there. I used to compete through Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Southeast region mostly. And back then, it was, a lot of people were into kickboxing or straight karate. This is before MMA, right? And fortunately, I was in a style. I took jujitsu back when people didn't know, how to spell it. Jujitsu and karate, and it was a grappling, felling, striking type of style, unlike what karate used to be. It was really the beginnings of mixed martial arts. It was really a fighting style. And I got involved. I took it, I competed a lot in competitions down there. And I also took it into the bars and lounges and clubs in South Florida back in the early 80s when it was a wild time down there.
You ever run into any Muay Thai, that kind of thing?
Yeah, Muay Thai. In fact, I spent 5 years in China not too long ago, about 7 years ago, and I came back here. So it was pretty cool. I got a chance to take my style and mix it with some other styles, predominantly northern China.
But it was they're awesome up in northern China because they're next to the Mongolians.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let me ask you this: as a practicing Catholic, an active lesbian that dies tomorrow at noon, is she going to heaven or hell?
I won't make that decision. I can't make that decision. Jesus Christ will make that. The Lord will make that decision.
No, it doesn't issue, but I'm always interested to where people that believe how they feel. What, Jackie?
Yeah.
I was just saying.
What do you? Hey, Tom. Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
These girls that you meet.
Mm-hmm.
What with all they've done, where do you think they're going?
Yeah, that's a good. Well, I'm not a Christian. I think.
Hey, you know what? Neither I can't answer that either. But I'll tell you one thing.
Just like I am.
I'll tell you one thing. I was a chief operating officer of a mid-size global manufacturer and distributor, and I dealt with people, white-collar people, who were doing worse things than those girls are doing in the street.
No, I believe it.
Much worse.
For sure.
And so, who's to judge? And when I hear at least the girls on the street are telling you the truth.
I agree. Yep. You don't get that. I don't want to say it's all honesty because, drug addicts need drugs.
Right. Exactly.
You're pretty straight.
I'll agree with you. But, I broke my back, and I'm on heavy doses of fentanyl and OxyContin, and it's all medically. So I'm not, I'm not doing anything illegal, and I don't have to resort to crime. But I can understand where these people come from when they don't have what they need to keep well, and they go into a withdrawal. They're going to do anything anything they have to get it, right?
No, it's the worst life possible. It's worse than death, I think.
I agree.
You're talking
but I tell you, Tom, I give you the utmost respect.
Yeah, I don't do much
for what you do.
Well, thank you. I don't do too much. So. Thank you, but I really don't do too much. It's nice to him.
Well, you know what you did? If you had changed one girl's life, then you accomplished quite a bit. And from the videos I've seen, there's nobody else I've seen that has done as much as you. Before I started watching your videos, since I had a lot of time on my hands and I wasn't working, I went out in Boston, and what I would do is I would load up. I'd buy some little miniature backpacks, knapsack type of thing, and I'd go to the dollar store and I'd just throw tissues and hand wipes and stuff I get from the dollar store, and I throw it in a bag. I'd bring it into areas, methadone mile down in Boston, and I'd just hand these things out, and I'd say hello to people. And because I used to work downtown Boston, and I'd walk right over these people, and I wouldn't say hello. I'd turn my head the other way. I wouldn't give, $1. I wouldn't even give them a hello. And I changed my life. Now, I try to give people dignity, no matter who they are.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm no better than them, and they're no better than I. But I think what I then all of a sudden I turned on Chosen One. I saw what you were doing, and I said, "Wow, you accomplished way more than me," because I was giving to each person, one person at a time, just saying hello, how you doing, how's it going today. But by what you were doing and setting an example, you allowed thousands of people to see what was going on. So you were able to take the word, but this is the Lord's word, and you were able to spread that across thousands of people. So that's really what intrigued me.
Oh, thank you. I got lucky.
I mean,
Each person has their own way of doing things. Each person has their own spiritual gift, whether it's Catholicism, Judaism, Hinduism, whatever. I don't think that's the point. It's actually what actions you take in your life to help other people and to make a difference. I think now that's what it comes down to. I didn't always believe that. I didn't always think that way, but I do now.
I think it's really interesting, and I was kind of like trying to talk about this one of these other nights, but I don't think I was doing a very good job of it. There's a lot of ideas that people have about sort of the greater meaning of existence and all that, and the overlaps between them are actually pretty fascinating, and a lot of it boils down to don't be an asshole, don't think too much of yourself, and do something good, and
right.
And there does exist good and evil.
Yeah, I agree.
You're right on target. You're right on.
Wins out though. Overall,
but there's so many different ways of interpreting all of that, and that's why we have so much to digest and talk about and think about. But I think if you start with those principles, you're on the right trajectory.
What's your name?
That's what I think.
His name's Christopher.
Christopher.
Yeah. That's
you're right on. You're right on target. I hear you. I totally agree with you. I think there is good and there is evil for sure.
Yeah,
and,
there's so many people who think that evil is some kind of made up concept, and that's something that only ever happens when you have a decadent cushy society, because if you lived in a terrible place, you'd know evil firsthand every day of your life. You're living in luxury if you don't know what evil is instinctually, and it's a fact of reality with humanity. And I think this is one of the reasons why very prosperous societies might run into downfall, is because of the fact that they forget that evil exists, and then they get infiltrated and poisoned by evil, because they're oh yeah, that's just a conspiracy theory, that's just a myth. Oh,
Yeah.
I heard about evil once, but yeah, that was just a goof and a half.
You
Yeah,
know,
no, I hear you, Christopher. I think people think that evil only lurks in the areas like where Tom treads in downtown Detroit or Chicago or Boston or New York. But, it's also evil is alive and rampant in the boardrooms of large corporations
Yeah,
and other places
that's
where you don't expect it.
the scariest evil because you don't see it. It's all like behind closed doors, like there's so much of that. And I really hate conspiracy stuff, so I'm not going to even like go there, but there's a lot of stuff going on that we don't know about. You can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
But
Well,
I think the important thing is, guys, I think the important thing is you focus on the good and you try to do that. And as Tom said a few minutes ago, is, good triumphs over evil every time. And, hopefully that's what works in the streets as well. And I think Tom's proven that.
Well, I mean, if anything, like I think just you know if there's any like phrase out of like the Bible and shit that I really like it's like all will become clear in the plain light of day, you know, and it's not like I want like a surveillance state where like everyone is like constantly monitored at all times, but I do think that shining a spotlight on the way things are in places in a way that's like presented without commentary is really valuable because it's just like if you were here and you saw this, what would you think?
Right.
You know, like I so many people I think hear like a headline and they're like, oh yeah, these people are doing this thing in this place and it's so far away and I don't fucking give a shit. But if you were there and you saw it, what would you feel? You know?
Right.
well, I think
Right. Or if it were happening to you.
Michelle?
it comes down to your humanity. And I think with all religions, whether you're Catholic or Christian or Buddhist or Muslim or anything, it's whether you're vibrating on a higher frequency that you get it. I mean, Desmond Tutu just passed away. I loved him. And then, like, the next day, Faye or Tay, they call him Tit Not Tin, passed away, and these were
Yes.
people,
Perfect example.
these
Perfect.
were people that influenced my life greatly. I mean, if you haven't read the book Joy with the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu, you just haven't experienced two really real human beings that experience joy in life in a real way. And so
Yeah.
if you can't appreciate the best of what religion has to offer, then you really just can't appreciate life, in my opinion. Because there is good in all of it. I've been around a lot of it. I've had meals with Buddhist monks. I mean,
Oh, you're lucky.
I've done
Yeah.
things and I've explored a lot of my own humanity because that's what it comes down to. Because if I don't feel like terribly guilty about the fact that I would wear Jesus, pronounce T-shirts around my family members who were gay and try to denounce them. God, I mean, there's no worse sin, I think, than that.
Yeah.
I think I'm sorry, what is your name?
Jackie.
Jackie, you articulated that very well. And I think you're right on. I was a follower of Desmond Tutu. He was kind of quiet in the last 5 years of his life or so, but I think he was a perfect example of somebody who just walked the walk and talked the talk, and such a gentle man.
Yeah. What's your take on that, Michelle? Michelle, you with us?
A take on what?
On what he just said. Desmond Tutu. Did you ever read on that much?
Was that guy
No,
like a guru? I don't know who that is.
I'm gonna get you.
He was a bishop.
Yeah, he was an archbishop with the Catholic Church, but he was
In Africa.
Yeah, and he
What part of Africa?
in
He was-
apartheid part.
Ethiopia?
Oh, I'd have to look it up.
I don't know.
To be honest,
I don't know, but he had a lot to do in the whole transformation of segregation.
Well, yeah, I don't know. The whole like African Christian situation is interesting. Like they have their own church too. It's like
South Africa.
Orthodox, you know.
He was with the Anglican Church of Southern Africa.
Oh, yo, from South Africa then.
Yeah, I would say he's
He was
Johannesburg.
a Catholic priest.
In Johannesburg.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah,
Ghana.
he was a Catholic priest as well.
Ghana.
Anglican cleric.
Oh, okay.
he worked really hard on apartheid. He was part of, advisors for Martin Luther King Jr.
Cool.
Just
Bocock
like-
light, please. Oh,
He was embraced by the Pope.
I don't think you want more light.
for whatever that means. No offense, Shock, but my view of the Pope has become disillusioned over the years.
Mine, I agree. Mine as well.
It comes from a girl who went in her very, very, very early 20s to see
I love
Pope
fire.
John Paul in the Silver Dome in Pontiac, and I thought it was magical, but
Was
Yeah.
that when he was in that Pope mobile, with the bulletproof Pope mobile?
Yeah. Yep.
Remember that?
Yeah.
It looked like
yeah.
I want one of those.
That'd be great.
Wouldn't it though, Tom?
Yeah. No, I think it'd be cool. Hey, you ever
You
get out?
would,
You ever get out?
you'd be
to-
riding that through downtown, through the west side of Detroit.
Yeah, I need it. Hey, you ever get down to Faneuil Hall anymore?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they still selling lobster sandwiches.
Oh, you bet.
Yeah. What do they get for one of those now? It's got to be $20, isn't it?
Wow,
Yeah.
That sounds right.
that sounds good.
Excellent food there.
Like a
Yeah.
lobster roll, is that what you're talking
They
about?
were going through that
Yeah.
deregulation at Airlines. I'd fly out there and have lunch from Detroit for like $75. Fly to
Oh,
Boston.
really?
Yeah, it was great, man. Those days are long gone. When I first moved to Florida, I was buying passes that people got for bonus points, buying them off them, and like $35, $45, and just getting on the plane, no ID, nothing. Man, things have changed.
Yeah.
Wow. I never thought of that.
I can't.
What a
stand
great,
it.
that's a great way.
Yeah, I
That's
can't do
something.
it anymore. It better be in your name or you're screwed.
Dude. One of the last times I took airplane travel,
It's a pain in
I
the ass now.
went through Dallas Fort Worth. It was a layover, and I had 45 minutes to get to my connecting flight, and it was on the entirely opposite side of the Dallas Fort Worth like whole bizarre semicircle. Like I don't know if you've been to that airport
Yeah.
before, but so I waited for the like metro car to come and take me away, and it took forever, and at the end of the day I missed the fucking connecting flight by like 1 minute, and I went back to the kiosk. I told the attendant like, hey, I in all haste went to my connecting flight, and I feel like there was no way I could have like made this flight. So like, what do I do? And they were like, okay, we'll find the next available flight for you. And it turned out it was going to be like 7 a.m. the next morning, and this was
Wow.
like 10 p.m. like at night.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck these people, fuck this, and I went into the grand ballroom, like convention center space of the airport, which was this strange area with very bad security, so it was very easy to get into, and giant open carpeted spaces, well lit with all these like couches and pillows, and I was just like wandering around in there being like, what the fuck is this? Like, what am I doing? Why am I here? Like, I hate airports so much. it,
After
like,
that experience, I don't blame you.
yeah, like, and then I slept on a couch in the grand ballroom for 6 hours, and then boarded a flight to get home. And it was for a job interview, and I didn't get the job. It was a great
Oh, that
experience.
sucks.
I loved that time. Very good time.
Wow. Michelle, you still with us?
Mhm.
What are you doing over there?
You know, I want to say something. You know, I in no means was ever trying to out Michelle for her beliefs, because I think
No, I
she's
know.
I think she's a
Yeah,
fine person.
don't worry
Yes,
worry
nice
about that.
person. No, we don't care.
No, I just
Michelle, you there?
Michelle's
here.
feelings are valid, and they're her feelings, and she's
Oh,
allowed
they're
to
her
have
feelings.
them. And that's what's great about, you know, Chosen One, is that we can all have a little
That's
bit varying opinions, but still
Only
care.
thing you gotta like is porn.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like porn?
That's important.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
It's the only barrier to entry. It's like
Or
check the
Tom
box.
talking about porn, or Tom talking about blowjobs,
No,
or Tom
Michelle.
talking about fantasies about blowjobs and nurses and blowjobs. And
Hey, you know, interestingly, what do you think? You know, I mean, when I was a kid, porn was a Playboy magazine stashed under, stashed under the mattress of my bed. And nowadays, these kids, it's so accessible.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
Okay,
Yeah, so,
I'm
yes.
gonna tell you an embarrassing story that is very funny. So my first experience with the internet was with like dial-up modems, like a 28.8, like a Win Sportster modem, like connecting to a CompuServe, AOL, that kind of shit. And I literally made some
Do it.
like inkjet printouts of naked women, and then like folded them up and like hid them in my room, and like that was porn to me, you know.
That's pretty neat, Bullpuck.
That's a sweet story.
How about the J.C. Penney catalog?
Yeah, that too.
Right,
Ross.
yeah.
Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's changed so much because you literally can like see every variation of every different kind of like body type of woman that you could possibly imagine, if you looked it up. It's like your imagination can, the sky's the limit as far as your sexual gratification.
But
in
you
the
know,
imagination sense is it's all
it's
out there.
interesting though. You just said your imagination. You know, nowadays with the internet and everything, it leaves nothing to the imagination. So these
Well,
kids now,
yeah.
at 10,
And that's
12 years old, they get on the internet and they're gonna come by these sites anyways. It leaves nothing to the imagination.
right.
And
it
so
also
I don't know. I don't think that's good.
I think it's bad. I think it actually like it depletes the facility in your head that gets you excited about like even basic things, you know. You think about like a primitive person, that there a lot of their motivation is like, I want to protect my like home and hearth. It's like I got like my wife and kids in the hut back there, and like some people are like coming around. I better like make like a rock axe and then like kill them and protect my family. You know, there's lots of like ways that I think primitive man was thinking about the world, and we're derived from that. And I think we're so far removed from it now that we're getting so confused, and we have to at least tap in a little bit to the root of it. I think, you know, like what matters in life. What is best in life?
Good question.
Hey, did we lose Christine here on this conversation?
I think they dipped out. Yeah.
I think Michelle fell asleep.
Oh, Michelle.
Yeah. She gets up early.
But yeah, like what motivates you to action? Like what makes you get up in the morning and go to
Me?
something? Anyone?
Nothing. No, nothing. That's the problem.
Coffee.
Yeah, but Tom, you still do shit though.
Yeah,
So like that's the thing, is that I think you got a routine down where you still do stuff, which is, you know, ideal.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like hobby stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I would like to do some work, man. I just can't seem to do it.
You know, like
hey Tom, no more PI.
I should, but I keep threatening to.
I think
Tom,
that would be.
You wouldn't want to hire me now, man. I'm so out of touch with that stuff. I've done like 3 PI cases in the last 10 years.
I used to be a paralegal, eh, Tom?
Oh, you did?
I used to serve papers and investigate, look for people to serve papers to.
Oh,
It was a little. It wasn't PI work, but I felt it was a little like it.
Yeah, no, right. They're serving papers up there in Canada too, huh?
Oh yeah, my oldest brother's a lawyer.
Oh
so
yeah.
He got me hooked
I used
up.
to serve people too, but it wasn't papers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Low key, I'm worried that somehow I became Tom's friend because he's investigating me. Now
Who's
I'm
that?
a little high and I've had some wine, so could be a little paranoia.
What are you paranoid about?
I'm just saying, low key, somebody could have hired you to be a PI on me.
Yeah, but you're not hiding anything, are you?
No, I don't think so. That's the Catholic girl in me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Huh?
Feel guilty even if I'm not.
Yeah, no, you got that right. Yeah. I know
Oh
you're
yeah,
telling
that born with guilt.
Mark, where'd your brother go to law school?
Osgood?
How about undergrad?
What's that? The school before he went to Osgood?
Yeah.
He went to York University.
Was he a good student in high school?
No,
Really?
no, he was all like he's got a high IQ. He's very smart as a whip. But at that age, he was a little undisciplined.
Yeah.
Like he hopped freight trains too across Canada, and was a little wild. So he didn't buckle down until his later years. He went to Ryerson and then York University. He was going to be a chartered accountant first, but he thought, well, I got great grades. That's where his grades started to get really good. So he hopped on, tried out, did the entrance exam for Osgood. They accepted him, and he hasn't looked back since. He had a job waiting for him when he was finished, and now he's a partner with downtown Toronto law firm, a big one too.
How's that worked out for him? Pretty good?
Oh yeah, he does really well.
Good. Cool.
Hey, shout out to Bopak. Love you too, man.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, y'all are alright. I need to fucking super glue
There
this.
he is.
Look at this shit. I need to super glue this cut shut. It's
Good. It works. They use it in hospitals.
Yeah, I know. It's bleeding. Like I took the bandage off and it started bleeding pretty badly again.
Oh man, what'd you do to it?
Super.
I was taking down an exhaust fan and it cut my thumb on both sides.
Did you disinfect it any good?
Yeah, it's been disinfected several times. I'm not an idiot. What are you talking about?
No, I know that.
When did you do it?
Concerned, that's all.
Actually,
Good.
a new coworker of mine. I didn't know anything about him because I just started like working with this crew again, and he like as soon as I started like bleeding profusely out of my hand, he was like, "Oh my god, like let me like dress your wound for you," and like pulled out the first aid kit, and he was so good about it. And it turned, I think he was an army reservist or something. And yeah, it was like I was immediately like sold on this guy. Like I was like, you're a good team member. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's somebody you want around when you start bleeding profusely, huh?
Yeah.
Where is he now?
What's that?
No, I was just saying, where is he now when you need him?
Right. Well, I mean, it's
Try super glue though. It works.
yeah. I have
Yeah, it does.
So there have been multiple times in my life that I have gotten like really bad cuts that probably should have gotten stitches, and instead of getting stitches, I've used medical grade super glue, just like glued the wound back together and been careful about it, and it will stitch itself up. You don't necessarily
You just got to make sure that you close the skin, right? You don't want to get that into your bloodstream.
That's right.
Yeah,
Hey,
the main
shock.
thing is if it's in like a place that flexes a lot, like a joint, you know, like
Yeah,
if
elbow or
it's
something.
like this area,
Right.
you're gonna need stitches anytime you get a cut like there. But
Yeah.
this one I think is gonna be fine because it's just right on the side of the thumb, you know.
Right.
I'm gonna glue this one shut and then put like some band-aids on top of it, and I'm just gonna like wear gloves and it'll be fine.
Is that your
Duct
jacket?
tape.
Is
You
that
put
your
duct tape over the super glue.
On it.
That shit works on anything.
Your name's Shock, right?
What's that?
Your name is Shock. Shock.
Shock, right.
Like the electrical shock. I was
Right.
just gonna say I did 11 days in a coma, same as you, under a ventilator, on all the drugs. I know what it's like.
Yeah. What happened? How'd
I
you
had
go?
bad pneumonia. I went in with my lungs were full of water, and they had me on a ventilator and in a coma within half an hour of arriving at the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I did 11
Yeah.
days. They woke me up several times. Did they wake you up during the 4 days?
No.
Okay, so you never.
They had me. I was trying to think before. They had me on hemodialysis. My blood had gone septic. Well,
Oh wow!
when my organs failed, all the shit went into my blood.
Right.
Oh damn!
You were in a coma for 11 days. You said?
Yeah.
Man, you're lucky to get out of that.
You're lucky you're alive.
That's like a fatal condition a lot of the time.
Yeah. I had last rites. They gave me about a 10% chance of living that.
I had a priest come in and it was a priestess. She came in and chanted and did her thing for me.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long did it take to get you out of it?
Well, when I woke up, what do you mean? After they woke me up?
Yeah.
Well, I ended up getting lung surgery, and then when they woke me up, I still had tubes coming out of my lungs to drain the last little bit of water out, and I couldn't walk. Could you walk when they woke you up? I couldn't walk at all. My legs were like rubber, and it took me a few days to learn to do that again. and my throat was okay from the ventilator. I didn't have any residual problems from it. But they did wake me up a few times during that 11 days. They woke me up 2 or 3 times. And it was uncomfortable to have that ventilator in you and be conscious.
Yeah.
That's why I was
Yeah.
wondering if they woke you up. It's not a pleasant feeling.
I still have like it's like the hole closed over in my neck. But yeah, it's not a comfortable feeling at all. But you're lucky. That's a long time to be out.
Yeah, they couldn't get my lungs to drain, and I was in really rough condition.
Wow.
So they finally ended up cutting me open and vacuuming my lungs out.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did it work though?
Yeah.
Yeah. No residual
How long
problems.
ago was it? When did that happen?
2016.
Oh, wow.
2016. So a few years ago.
How's everything now? How do you feel now?
I'm okay. My breathing's fine. They say I have COPD though.
Yeah, that I was wondering if that's
There's
what
good medications for that, though.
you're going with.
Yeah. I'm stupid because I still smoke a little bit. And I
Yeah,
shouldn't because I am
you
concerned
really should
about
stop.
my breathing in the future.
You what's the thing? Vasodilator.
Yeah. Basal.
Yeah.
What's that?
It
The things that like make your
allows you to
blood
breathe
vessels expand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have a few things that they gave me.
Yeah.
You've got
They
to
want me to take a steroid.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to get on steroids.
No,
I know. I have
Maybe a
it.
little bit short term.
Yeah. No, they want me to take one every day, all day, and
it reduces inflammation.
Yeah.
yeah. But my lungs are fine otherwise.
Good for you.
I mean,
Where'd Michelle go? She out?
glad you're alive,
She-
man.
She checked
Yeah,
out again?
thanks. So am I.
Tom, what are you
Yeah.
eating?
Frozen pizza?
It looked like it. It looks good.
Good. It is good.
It's previously frozen pizza.
Yeah, I was going to say. Hopefully you cooked it first.
Yeah. Got hungry late at night.
Is it just plain, or do you have any anything on it?
Yeah, this one's got a lot on it. I never get meat on frozen pizzas because they're so cheap. I always think it's got to be like the lowest grade meat. So
You never know what it is.
cheese, that
Put
kind of.
some ketchup,
Lips and assholes.
ketchup
Right.
on frozen pizza. You're off to the races.
Hey,
You
Shock.
know what they make the pepperoni out of.
Shock, you probably got the same thing Mark's going on in Toronto. Property prices are crazy, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. They gone crazy.
Where are you, Chuck?
Unfortunately, I just sold a house 3 years ago, just prior to the things going crazy on Cape Cod, which is a vacation area.
You probably
Yeah, I know
still
Cape
made out
Cod.
pretty good though, didn't you?
It's beautiful.
But
there.
I had made money on it. I thought prices were good then, but then they went up even more.
Yeah.
Boy, you guys got hit with a storm shock.
Yeah, we just got 2 feet.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Wow.
watched it live all day. I wasn't feeling well that day, and it was like a nice distraction.
Yeah.
Southwest Michigan's supposed to get a foot tomorrow.
At least.
Yeah. Wish we were getting it. I love a good snowstorm.
We got walloped last week, week before last week. That's all I want.
What's the worst snow you've seen up there, Mark?
What's the most?
Yeah, you ever get really buried?
Yeah. Mostly when I was a kid, I remember we used to get like several feet. Now, not so much.
Yeah.
I think it's all over the place like that, right?
Yeah.
But we get a good walloping every once in a while, and we'll get like the other week, 2 weeks ago, we got 16 inches, which isn't bad.
Wow.
And we'll get hit with one of those, and then we'll be okay. But it'll be crazy. We'll get nice warm temperatures. Like today was +5.
Yeah, it was 38 here.
So
Hey, Jill, no amateur mom. What do you mean now, though?
Now?
Yeah, Jill's saying that. I think she's asking how much snow we're having now. We just got it the other day, so it's 2 feet.
Oh.
Was before, but yeah, I love snowstorms as well. I mean, it's a good chance to just, shack up and turn on the fireplace, grab a brew, and relax.
yeah,
I
that's what we
always
do
tell
pretty
the story.
much.
You guys may have heard it before, but when I left northern Michigan, the
You guys-
Koski area, actually,
Y'all think that
we had
it's
190
too far
inches
gone?
of
I might have to take it off.
What is that?
Oh, yeah, I've seen one of those. It's like a old miter saw.
It's exactly what it is.
What are you doing with that?
Now that
How-
I'm trying to redress this wound, but it's pretty bad. It's worse than I thought it was.
Don't let
So
it get
it's-
infected.
Yeah, I've been disinfecting it. There's 2 cuts on both sides.
Get some zinc oxide.
Yeah. Here, I'll disinfect it for y'all.
What's with the rusty saw, though? I don't
What?
understand.
That's
What was
that's my wood saw. What's wrong with that?
Is that what you cut it on, Christopher?
No.
Well, what up with the rusty saw then?
Thank God.
It just happened to be lying around.
No.
Oh, okay.
Good props.
Christopher always has the good backgrounds.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm about ready to hit the old hay, you guys.
What's on for tomorrow, Tom? Where are we going?
I'll be on wherever you want. Your choice.
Wow.
Yeah, I gotta tend to my wounds anyway.
We
And
can,
it's
That's right.
music thing, whatever you feel like doing. You come on, and by that time you'll know. You have time to think about it.
All right. That was nice that you went out and saw Mary there the other day.
Yeah, I just happened to run into her. I thought she
That
was
was
in
so cool.
Ohio. I thought she was in Ohio. Or I would have told her I was coming up there.
Yeah, yeah.
You know how it is. I don't like to bug people. I don't want them to feel pressure just because I'm in their area.
Yeah. I don't think, I think everybody's glad to see you, Tom.
Oh. Yeah, but I knew it was her as soon as I rounded the corner. She's a sweet person. Nice. Good
Mary,
mom.
yeah, she is.
Yeah, she's the best.
Talking about Mary?
She really
Everybody
is.
likes her. Yeah, that's the same way they feel about her up where she lives.
What is that? That's a tin bottle of Budweiser.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Oh, good.
It's
Can bottle.
funny. Sometimes you get feelings about people like right off the bat,
Yeah.
and she's definitely one of them. Kind, sweet person.
Yeah.
Yeah, but doesn't take any bullshit either.
Yeah,
know.
yeah. That's true. That is 100% true.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Well, you guys have a good night tonight, and I'll plan on being on at 9:00 tomorrow.
Hey,
Thanks,
so long,
Tom.
people. It was
All right,
fun.
good meeting you, Scott. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
And
Yeah,
That was great.
meeting you, Sean.
Jackie, good night.
Night-night.
Y'all have a good night.
Bopak,
Love y'all.
yeah,
Bopak,
good night, y'all.
Bopak.
Love
Bopak.
y'all.
Hey, Bopak,
Yeah, what's up?
is that your jacking off hand?
No, actually. So I'm in the clear. I'm in the
All right.
clear.
Yeah. Good.
Oh,
All right.
Tom, good
Let's
night.
keep the
night.
jacking off hand where we can see it, Bobak.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, good night, you guys.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
Yep,
Take
see
it
you
easy,
later.
man.
All right.
Okay,
bye-bye.
bye.